Qinghua? You got into Qinghua? Su Ning exclaimed in surprise. Yi Bai looked at his unblemished hands, puzzled. What? Do I not look like a top scholar? No, quite impressive. Even more so than I, Su Ning replied, feeling slightly insecure. She was able to attend the Armed Police University due to her Jinghai residency, which provided an advantage in scores compared to other provinces. In terms of college entrance examination results, she had only around 600 points, while Tsinghua and Peking University required at least 680 points, with 700 being more secure. Regardless of how impressive you are, you still have to worry about the orders. Yi Bai self-deprecatingly remarked, then donned his helmet once more, waving at the two. Come on, before I deliver the Red Flame Dragon Knight to the Transportation Bureau. I would like one last dance. As a modifier, I trust you. Lao Lei will not refuse my request? Of course not, Lei Chuyang replied with a wry smile. Yi Bai then set off again, departing from Xinkang Village, heading towards the Huadu Transportation Bureau. After Yi Bai and the others left, an Audi A6 slowly rolled out of Xinkang Village. Inside sat a middle-aged man with a goat-like visage, single eyelids, and an expression that resembled a stoic mask, Secretary De Kong himself. At that moment, he gazed with keen interest through the car window at the striking blue and white police motorcycle. Curiosity piqued. Xiao Jin, whose vehicle is that up ahead? Secretary, it belongs to Director Lei and his team, judging by the route. They seem to be on the same path, his secretary, Jin Yang, replied. No, I mean that police motorcycle, De Kong pointed out. He had been listening to Lei Chuyang earlier, but had been reluctant to pay attention, as many subordinates often harbored ulterior motives. Now, seeing the two police motorcycles with his own eyes, he found them quite eye-catching, prompting him to steal a few more glances to understand better. Jin Yang promptly pulled out his phone to check the information provided by Lei Chuyang, replying, the owner of Yunxiao Auto Repair, Yi Bai. He is the one Director Lei mentioned regarding the modifications. Yi Bai comes from a notable background. His father, Yi Nantian, is the chairman of Jiangnan Auto Repair Group. Didn't he toast you the other day? Oh, he is Yi Nantian's son. No wonder the modifications are so extravagant, fetching a price of 300,000. De Kong shook his head in disappointment, returning to his thoughts on how to address the agricultural issues he uncovered during his investigation in Xinkang Village. It was at that moment he suddenly heard the sound of a car crash. A blue GTR sped down the road to Huadu, launching from a high platform and crashing onto the national highway, scattering debris everywhere. Without pausing, it sped away, unwilling to even glance back, slamming the brakes and leaving a trail of blue smoke as it accelerated away. Hot on its heels were two private cars racing after it, but unfortunately, one of them broke down, leaving only one to continue the pursuit. The direction of the blue GTR was precisely where the new police motorcycle was headed. Secretary De Kong, there's a situation ahead. Should we take a detour? Jin Yang quickly turned to De Kong. De Kong leaned against the seat, scrutinizing the two chasing vehicles, and decisively stated, no, we cannot take a detour. Jin Yang urged, but your safety, immediately pursue. Mobilize the police force. We cannot waste a moment. De Kong commanded with unwavering authority. Jin Yang's expression changed dramatically. Chapter 29, Grand Theft Auto. Is Huadu becoming Los Santos? On National Highway 303, a BYD was closely trailing behind the Red Flame Dragon Knight. In the car, Aluo sat in the passenger seat, tears streaming down his face. It's my fault. If it weren't for me, my cousins wouldn't have been sent to the labor camp. I must go and apologize to them. Aluo lamented. Slap. In the next moment, Along slapped Aluo across the face. Feeling the stinging pain on his cheek, Aluo ceased his tears, staring at Along in shock and anger. Along, one hand on the steering wheel and the other lighting a cigarette, said, Don't be foolish. You've already sacrificed so much to find the master for modifications. You still don't know if the master will forgive your earlier recklessness. And you want to run off to apologize to your cousins? That's like picking up a sesame seed and dropping a watermelon. Do you know which is more important? Aluo stared blankly at Along, his expression slowly clearing, before bursting into tears. Long go. Thank goodness for you. Otherwise, I would have missed my opportunity to succeed. I must find the master to modify the car. I must succeed. That's the only way to honor the sacrifices of my cousins. Aluo clenched his fists, determination etched on his face. Indeed, you will succeed. There are so many viewers in the live stream supporting you, baby. Ayao held her phone, constantly focusing on the location of the Red Flame Dragon Knight. They had journeyed from Huadu to Xinkang Village and were now returning, and despite the fatigue of travel, the outcome was undeniably worthwhile. Just then, a blue GTR suddenly zipped past. Along, who was driving, was startled, almost swerving into the slow lane alongside another vehicle. Before he could react, zoom. Another white private car rushed from behind. With a loud crash, it knocked off the rearview mirror. What the heck? Along lamented as he gazed at the now missing mirror, a surge of uncontainable anger boiling within him. Don't let me catch up. If I do, I'll definitely give them a piece of my mind. Wait, they seem to be heading toward the master. Should we warn them? A Yao hastily suggested. Along raised an eyebrow, quickly pressing the horn. Beep, 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 beep. The horn blared loudly and piercingly, with a high frequency. Yi Bai, who was chatting with Su Ning in the car to alleviate the worries of failing the task, furrowed his brow. What kind of road rage driver is that? Don't they know I'm driving the red Flame Dragon Knight, with traffic police in the back? Yi Bai grumbled. Wait, look behind. Su Ning suddenly exclaimed. Behind? What is going on? Yi Bai turned to the rearview mirror, just in time to see something zoom by. In a moment of distraction, another vehicle sped past. Looking ahead, he saw a white Volkswagen pursuing the blue GTR, weaving chaotically on the national highway. As it was nighttime, there were many cars on the national highway, allowing the Volkswagen to keep up with the restricted GTR. However, the GTR was clearly in a hurry, darting back and forth on the highway. Unbothered by collisions with other vehicles, while others came to a halt, the GTR continued to speed ahead without slowing down. The GTR is malfunctioning, Yi Bai declared with certainty. Su Ning replied solemnly. It could be a car thief or a wanted criminal being pursued by undercover police, desperately fleeing without regard for anything. Yi Bai exclaimed, Goodness! A grand theft auto? Is he treating Huadu as Los Santos? He truly underestimates my Crimson Flame Dragon Rider. He rubbed his hands together, eager for action. At that moment, Su Ning suddenly said, Yi Bai, pull over, leave the next steps to me. What? Yi Bai was taken aback, frowning. Aren't we on the same front? You're abandoning me in a situation like this? Su Ning gritted her teeth. I am a police officer, and you are a civilian. How could I let a civilian take the lead? With determination, Yi Bai pressed harder on the accelerator of the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider, saying firmly, but we advocate for a harmonious relationship between police and citizens. Moreover, stopping now would mean missing the optimal time for capture. Officer Su, brace yourself. I'm about to get serious. Yi Bai and Su Ning exchanged complex glances, ready to persuade each other, when suddenly the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider erupted with a thunderous roar. In that instant, Su Ning felt an invisible force pulling her backward. The wind whipped fiercely, her hair flying behind her. Realizing the power of the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider was unleashed, Su Ning quickly clung to Yi Bai's chest. For some reason, a sweet joy tugged at the corners of her mouth. Inside the blue GTR, a young couple sat. The man, around 20, sported a trendy hairstyle and a fashionable jacket. His looks average, but enhanced with makeup to a score of 78. He was driving the GTR, with the speedometer fluctuating between 140 miles per hour and 210 miles per hour. Despite breaking into a cold sweat and gasping for breath, he relentlessly overtook other vehicles, glancing nervously at the rearview mirror. What do we do? How did they find us? How were we exposed? The woman in the passenger seat, with curly hair and an attractive figure, wore a panicked expression. After deftly overtaking a car, the man angrily exclaimed, It must be that idiot A Wei who leaked information. I swear I'll turn him into dog food. But right now, we must find a way to escape the undercover pursuit. We need to hide in the mountains and contact Chenggu to get us across the border. What? Leave the country? I don't want to. The woman was dumbfounded. The man, nearly laughing in frustration, retorted, Before doing this, you should have been prepared for such an outcome. The woman clutched her newly acquired Chanel bag and stylish outfit, her face contorting as tears welled up. Honey, can we not leave the country? I can't bear to part with these beautiful clothes. Life abroad is uncomfortable compared to home. She pouted, leaning against him. Enough. Are you trying to get me killed? Leaving the country is our only chance to survive. Once abroad, you'll still have money to spend. Here, you'd just be waiting for prison time. Be grateful I'm driving a GTR. If it were a Tesla, even as a professional racer, we wouldn't escape. With a forceful shove, he pushed her away, narrowly avoiding a collision with a car in front, then slammed his hand on the steering wheel until pain surged through his brain. Through the rearview mirror, he saw the Volkswagen still in pursuit, causing his gaze to turn icy as he began to decelerate. The Volkswagen, having accelerated, swiftly caught up to the GTR. As the driver rolled down the window, a commanding voice boomed, Stop! Pull over! Before the command was even finished, the man in the GTR accelerated leftward, crashing into the Volkswagen. The driver of the Volkswagen slammed on the brakes, wheels screeching against the road, leaving a long skid mark. Finally halting, he saw smoke billowing from the engine. The man sneered, pressing the accelerator again as the GTR surged forward, gaining hundreds of meters distance. He breathed a long sigh of relief. Suddenly, a dragon's roar echoed from outside. Indeed, it was a dragon's roar. The man thought he was imagining things due to stress, but in the next moment, he spotted a blue and white motorcycle racing toward him. The distance between the GTR and the motorcycle visibly decreased. At that moment, the GTR's speedometer read 210 miles per hour. Chapter 30. Performing surgery on the GTR. Is this what they call police iron steeds? According to the formula for speed and distance, for a vehicle to catch up to another, it requires a period of acceleration, typically several seconds. Then, to overtake, the relative positions of the two vehicles must close, which also takes time, at least a minute or two. At 210 miles per hour, the GTR should have been able to leave the pursuing vehicle 1 or 2 kilometers behind within 2 or 3 minutes. Yet, this motorcycle had somehow closed the gap in mere moments. This indicated the opponent's acceleration was rapid, and their speed must have been at least 300 miles per hour. A motorcycle? Faster than my GTR? The man was horrified as he watched the motorcycle approach. Honey, they're catching up again. The woman cried anxiously. Without hesitation, the man shifted to the highest gear, 5th gear. The GTR's engine roared. But at that moment, the motorcycle unleashed an even louder dragon's roar. The roar drowned out the GTR's rumble. The man was stunned. Was this reality? In the city, yet they were in a fantasy realm, a dimensional attack? How absurd. Cold fury settled on his face. Instead of accelerating, he deliberately slowed down, allowing the motorcycle to catch up. The motorcycle was none other than the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider. Seeing the GTR suddenly decelerate, Su Ning's pupils constricted in alarm. He is going to crash into us. Move out of the way. Yi Bai scoffed. Why should I evade him? We are merely meat against iron. Once we collide, our legs could be injured, or worse, broken, and at such speed, we might even perish. Su Ning, in a panic, pounded on Yi Bai's chest, frantically urging, move. Please, just move. Yet, Yi Bai remained unyielding. Out of the corner of her eye, Su Ning saw the GTR indeed turning to crash into them. Su Ning shut her eyes tightly, instinctively screaming. The audience watching through a Yao's livestream panicked. It's over. They're going to collide. Is the master foolish? Why isn't he dodging? The last Volkswagen was sent flying just like that. How can he not learn from it? Oh no. Please no. A Yao, distressed, watched the impending crash, feeling utterly helpless. Especially a Luo, who had invested so much, could only watch as the master was about to be thrown away. At that moment, Aluo felt a deep connection with the Chancellor from over 1,000 years ago. Suddenly, before Along, who had been silently accelerating, a flash of red flame appeared. What is that? Along quickly slammed the brakes. Everyone turned to look. The once straight path of the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider suddenly erupted in a blaze of roaring flames. From the front to the rear of the vehicle, the fire danced with the wind, leaving a long, trailing flame that resembled a dragon soaring through the sky. Moments later, they witnessed the blue GTR collide with the fiery dragon, and in less than a second, the vehicle was instantly melted down, transforming into a pool of fiery molten iron that spilled onto the highway, emitting hissing smoke. At that moment, whether it was Arrow and his companions, the drivers on the highway, or the viewers in the live stream, all were left in shock. The scene before them was dazzling and surreal, yet dreamlike and unreal. Where did this flame come from? How could it instantly reduce the GTR's door to molten metal? Surely the occupants within could not have survived. Goodness! Arrow exclaimed, slapping his forehead, utterly bewildered. Arrow's face turned ashen, for he felt as if the sky had fallen. Just then, Ayao suddenly cried out, no, wait. The motorcycle is reversing to collide with that GTR. Everyone immediately looked again. They saw that after the GTR's door had been burned away, it quickly distanced itself from the motorcycle, beginning to sway left and right, spinning in place. Meanwhile, the motorcycle, still shrouded in flames, turned its front straight towards the GTR. With a swift motion akin to slicing through tofu, the motorcycle delivered a surgical strike upon the GTR. The rear trunk of the GTR detached from the front, leaving it completely out of control. With a loud crash, it collided head-on with the tunnel wall, flipping over, its body billowing thick smoke and flames. Accompanied by a peculiar sound, the fiery dragon on the motorcycle vanished in an instant. Looking back, the master and the female officer were still perfectly fine in their vehicle, unharmed and not reduced to ashes, instead gradually slowing down to a stop beside the wrecked GTR. Astonishment. The entire scene was engulfed in shock. What on earth was happening? Arrow could hardly believe his eyes. Was this truly a police motorcycle performing surgery on the GTR? Arrow was utterly dazed. And that little fire dragon, could it be that he was dreaming? Ayao instinctively pinched Arrow's side. Ouch! That hurts. Arrow winced, tears welling in his eyes. Yao was even more stunned. This was not a dream at all. The live stream audience exclaimed, "Huh? What? Is this even possible? Wait, is this guy some sort of Ghost Rider? The fire dragon doesn't harm him? Could it be that Ghost Rider has invaded reality?" On the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider, Su Ning opened her eyes, astonished to find herself still alive, as was Yi Bai. The GTR that had initially sped toward them had instead crashed into the tunnel wall, smoke billowing. Su Ning was left speechless. At that moment, Yi Bai calmly remarked, "I was just considering how to intercept it, and here it comes, directly crashing into us." The most impressive form of my Crimson Flame Dragon Rider requires the use of a plasma fluid barrier. Not only can it block bullets, but it can also deliver a thunderplow heat cut to that GTR. A thunderplow heat cut? Su Ning was taken aback. Wasn't that a technique from Naruto used by the 8 Tails Jinchuriki, Killer Bee? It could even sever the tails of tailed beasts, and here it was being utilized perfectly. The key point was that this was merely a motorcycle. Ding, shock value 5. Ding, shock value 6. Ding. Shock value 10086. The system's notification chimes echoed incessantly in his mind. Yi Bai speculated that it must be the 3 individuals from the live stream, lamenting that it was not his account, otherwise he could earn quite a few gifts. However, shock value was something that would never be too much. The more, the better. He thought, let us see who inside that GTR is bold enough to dare crash into my Yi Bai's vehicle. With a slight frown, Su Ning complied and exited the vehicle. Yet, shortly after she stepped out, over 10 vehicles approached, consisting of private cars and police cars. Chapter 31. Is Yi Bai the one to stop the GTR? As Yi Bai was about to approach the wrecked GTR, he heard someone shout from behind, "Do not approach that vehicle. Everyone, stay still." Turning around, he was taken aback to see more than 20 individuals, among them several police cars, all armed with firearms. QSC-92 pistols. It was unclear whether they were of 58 caliber or 9mm caliber. "Yi Bai, let us step aside." Su Ning tugged at Yi Bai's sleeve, whispering. Yi Bai nodded and retreated to the side. Inside the wrecked GTR, a woman huddled in a corner, tears streaming down her face as she sobbed. "What should we do? Are we going to prison?" The man beside her clutched a large shard of glass embedded in his chest, cold sweat pouring down his face as he pulled it out. Writhing in pain, gasping for breath, he pointed to the glove compartment, saying, "Get the gun out." "What?" The woman trembled all over. The man shouted, "I said, get the gun out." "The gun? Are you going to kill someone?" The woman's face paled in terror. "If you don't resist. Do you want to rot in jail?" The man swiftly retrieved a crude gun from the driver's glove compartment, disengaged the safety, and tucked it into his waistband. This homemade firearm was a rough metal tube, modified to fire nails, capable of inflicting a lethality of 50 joules, surpassing that of a standard police revolver. "But I can't. I can shoot, but I can't aim," the woman stammered as she held the weighty, metallic feel of the gun in her hands. Panting heavily, "Can't aim? When someone is right in front of you, you'll surely hit them." The man's face twisted with a murderous intent. In an Audi A6, Dekong leaned against the car, gazing out the window, his fingers rhythmically tapping the edge of the window. Just then, his secretary, Jin Yang, turned and reported, "Secretary, the leader of the criminal investigation team responsible for this operation, Wang Chao, has been in contact. They have successfully intercepted the target vehicle. However, they mentioned it was a motorcycle engulfed in flames, driven by a young couple." "Engulfed in flames?" Dekong frowned. Due to the driver prioritizing safety, he had not approached the incident site closely enough to see what had transpired. "Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it should be Yi Bai's upgraded police motorcycle, since it's called the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider, which fits perfectly. Moreover, its functional description includes a plasma fluid barrier, which also appears to be flame-related," Jin Yang explained. Dekong froze, his body going rigid as if encased in ice. Bang! Just then, a gunshot rang out from the tunnel entrance. Dekong instinctively ducked his head. "Quick! Turn around! Turn around!" Jin Yang shouted. The driver hurriedly executed a U-turn. Bang! 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 Immediately afterward, several more gunshots rang out. Even the slowest of the drivers on the scene realized that not only had a car accident occurred, but a shooting incident had also taken place. "Run! Honk the horn and get out of here." This was the only thought racing through everyone's minds. What was that sound? Firecrackers? No, could it be gunfire? Inside the BYD, Yao curled up in fear, trembling. "Gunshots. This is definitely gunfire. We need to leave now. Otherwise, we'll be hit by stray bullets." Before Arrow could finish his sentence, he heard a whoosh as something flew past him. Turning around, he saw a bullet heading straight for him, crashing into the windshield and splintering it with a spiderweb of cracks, but thankfully, it did not penetrate. It didn't penetrate. Oh my goodness. Arrow's body swayed. His pupils constricting, his mind still in shock, yet his foot pressed down on the accelerator, causing the steering wheel to veer left. Hey. We're going to crash. Bang. As Arrow attempted to dissuade, he witnessed a long collide head-on with a vehicle that had just turned around. The viewers in the live stream exclaimed, "What on earth is happening? Oh my God, I'm stuck on the national highway. I can see cars going the wrong way. What just occurred at the tunnel entrance?" In the tunnel, the leader of the Criminal Investigation Unit, Wang Chao, confirmed that Yi Bai and Su Ning were hiding behind him and promptly signaled to the two undercover officers beside him. One moved left, the other right, both brandishing their firearms, aiming at the wrecked GTR inside. Wang Chao raised his gun, leaned close to the car door, and shouted, "Cover your heads. Both hands on your head." Bang. He fired a shot at the ground and then directed his gun at the man inside the vehicle, commanding, "Come out. Get down. Do you hear me? Move, and I will shoot." The man huddled inside, facing Wang Chao, hands raised, trembling all over, yet he remained frozen in place. At that moment, the undercover officer at the front spotted a woman and bellowed, "Come out. Hands on your head. Hurry." The woman, trembling and cradling her large belly, slowly crawled out, crying out in pain, I'm pregnant. It just kicked me. Please don't point a gun at me." Her sluggish movements and anguished expression evoked sympathy. The undercover officer sighed softly, lowered his gun slightly, and reassured her, "It's all right. I'll put down my gun. You're safe. Just come down." But suddenly, the woman sat up and drew a handgun, aiming it at the undercover officer. "Not good," Wang Chao shouted in anger. The next second, a gunshot rang out. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of gunfire erupted. Yi Bai, hiding behind the red flame dragon rider, was left dazed, not only from the deafening noise, but also from the revelation that the woman was merely pretending to be pregnant. She had turned the undercover officer into a target. Fortunately, her aim faltered. Despite the close range, her shot went wide due to the recoil, hitting the tunnel ceiling instead. The undercover officer survived. He retaliated with several shots aimed at the woman. Bang! A shot struck her leg. The woman screamed in agony. The undercover officer, his face contorted in pain, ground his foot into her belly, shouting, "Come out. I command you to come out." Bang! Bang! Just then, amidst the chaos, the man fired at Wang Chao, who was caught off guard and was hit before he could react, only managing to graze the man's thigh in return. Despite the injury, the man wildly fired several shots. One bullet struck perilously close to Yi Bai and Su Ning's position. In this moment of peril, as bullets drew nearer, Su Ning felt an eerie calm wash over her, her mind blank, knowing death was imminent. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed. Before she could blink, a wave of crimson flames engulfed her. The flames perfectly intercepted the crude bullet, causing it to fizzle and drop to the ground. As the barrier dissipated, she stared at the scorched bullet, stunned into immobility until Yi Bai called her name repeatedly, snapping her back to reality. She was alive. "Su Ning, Officer Su, are you all right?" Yi Bai waved his hands in front of her. She blinked, exhaling deeply, her body slumping against Yi Bai's back. After a moment, she said, "I owe you my life. Otherwise, I would have met my great-grandmother." "Don't mention it, Officer Su." Yi Bai chuckled. "I told you my red flame dragon rider could stop bullets. But you never mentioned it could instantaneously block bullets. Do you know how extraordinary that technology is? It's practically invincible." Su Ning marveled. "Exactly. That Secretary de Kong doesn't recognize true value." Yi Bai scoffed. "Crafted by a superior military-industrial system, it is undoubtedly exceptional." At that moment, Wang Chao and his team subdued the two criminals completely and turned to check on Yi Bai and Su Ning. Expecting to find at least one of them injured, he was astonished to see them both unharmed. "Are you part of the Criminal Investigation Unit?" "I'm Su Ning from the Traffic Bureau." She introduced herself. Wang Chao raised an eyebrow in surprise. "Wang Chao from the Criminal Investigation Unit. Nice to meet you." Yi Bai interjected, "I'm the owner of a car repair shop. Is there a chance you'll consider modifying vehicles here, Captain Wang? Let us discuss that later." Wang Chao replied, intrigued. "I saw that criminal shoot. Didn't it hit you?" Su Ning frowned. "It did hit." "What?" Wang Chao exclaimed, glancing between them. "Yet you both are unscathed." "Indeed, we were shielded by this new police vehicle I'm in," Su Ning clarified. "What?" Wang Chao was even more astonished. At that moment, Yi Bai activated the plasma fluid barrier once more, casually saying, "Captain Wang, give it a shot. If you kill it, it's on me." "Wait." Wang Chao chuckled, shaking his head. The next instant, a brilliant fire dragon enveloped Yi Bai and Su Ning. "Hey, fire. Why is it on fire?" "Water. We need water." Wang Chao panicked. While the undercover officers turned to look, bewildered. What is going on? Is this car about to explode? Suddenly, the fire dragon vanished. And Yi Bai and Su Ning sat unscathed in the vehicle. What? This is incredible. What kind of black technology is this? The undercover officers were baffled, scratching their heads in confusion. Even the officer holding the criminals was astonished. Suddenly, Wang Chao realized he had stepped on something. Looking down, he discovered a small steel ball and recalled a flash of fire moments ago. It seemed that was the reason the blue GTR had been intercepted. Yi Bai, was that you who intercepted the GTR with this vehicle? Wang Chao asked in curiosity. An undercover officer chimed in. I examined the vehicle. It seems it was cut by something. From the cross-section, it looks like it was sliced by a molten blade or something. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such an effect. Yi Bai smiled. It's simple. The plasma fluid barrier I deployed is a cutting-edge technology that not only stops bullets, but can also utilize its high temperature to slice through metal vehicles. The GTR was cut by my barrier. I think I'll name this technique the Dragon S-Blade. Dragon S-Blade? This is a city. How did it suddenly turn into a fantasy scene? This is unbelievable. However, the formidable presence of this police motorcycle left no room for doubt among those present. At that moment, the man pinned to the ground suddenly burst into laughter. Ha! I will escape. I will kill you all. I will throw your parents into a boiling furnace. I will burn them alive. I will scald their skin off and cook the flesh inside. You will all meet a terrible end. His piercing gaze, filled with murderous intent, fixed on Yi Bai, making the air around him feel icy. Wang Chao quickly shielded Yi Bai's view and calmly said, This is the nature of drug dealers. They are ruthless. I could have shot him, but that would sever the lead. However, you can rest assured, his fate is sealed. Only the death penalty awaits him. A drug dealer? A drug dealer? What the hell? Yi Bai was instantly incensed. Why resort to such a vile trade? Without a moment's hesitation, he jumped out of the vehicle and strode towards the man. Hey, what are you doing? Come back. It's dangerous. Wang Chao, bewildered by Yi Bai's sudden outburst, rushed to pull him back. But fortunately, Yi Bai charged forward, delivering a flurry of punches and kicks to the man's head. Had Wang Chao not intervened, he might have gone even further. Damn it, let me tell you. My life is forged from nickel-based superalloys. Even if the universe collapses, I will not perish. How dare you threaten my family? I will make sure you pay. Yi Bai exclaimed furiously. Despite his conflicts with his father, that was an internal matter. Externally, they remained united. Seeing Yi Bai finally calm down, Wang Chao sighed in relief and said earnestly, All right, we'll pretend we didn't see you delivering over 30 strikes. Just cool off. Additionally, we will review today's incident, and if the traffic conditions confirm that it was indeed the drug dealer's vehicle that was intercepted, Yi Bai, no. Comrade Yi Bai, the criminal investigation team will accurately report your actions to the authorities. Yi Bai replied nonchalantly, Report it if you must, I don't mind. Su Ning leisurely drove closer to Yi Bai and whispered, But assisting the criminal investigation team in intercepting a drug dealer's vehicle is a significant achievement. You might even receive a first-class merit. Yi Bai waved dismissively, just a mere first-class merit. Yet, he widened his eyes thoughtfully. First-class merit. His breath quickened. First-class merit. Chapter 33. You didn't approve before, but now you do, yet I won't change anything. This is indeed a first-class merit. Had it not been for advanced technology, I might have truly lost my life today. This first-class merit is well-deserved. Furthermore, a first-class merit means that officials from the community and conscription office will come to celebrate at my home with banners. Hey, aren't you thrilled? Such joyous news. Are you sure you want to share it with your family? Su Ning smiled brightly, revealing a charming dimple on her left cheek. Yi Bai realized the warmth of her smile and replied, It's fine. There's no need. When the time comes, they will naturally find out. His father, Yi Nantian, had always doubted his capability to stand on his own. This first-class merit would serve as a powerful testament. Yet, to truly bring fortune to his father and earn a little pocket money during college, he still had to rely on modifying cars. Su Ning parked the Qian Longqi and stepped out to address Wang Chao. Team Leader Wang. This vehicle was modified by Yi Bai. Modified? Wang Chao was taken aback, observing that Yi Bai was barely of legal age. Was it even legal? It's all above board. The paperwork is in order. This vehicle was originally meant for our traffic bureau, but unfortunately, Secretary De Kong blocked the order, resulting in only one vehicle being delivered instead of 10. Su Ning continued. They didn't allow it? What the hell? What is Secretary De Kong thinking? Wang Chao frowned deeply. Su Ning shrugged. I don't know. Wasn't there a news report about a kindergarten bus that collided with a 100-ton truck? Oh, I remember that. To be honest, when I saw that video, I thought it was special effects. However, after investigating, I found out it was real. Wait, Could it be that this vehicle was also modified by him? Wang Chao exclaimed, pointing at Yi Bai, his mouth agape. Not just him, many plainclothes officers shared the same astonishment. Yi Bai calmly stated, I am a thoroughbred. But some are not true judges of talent. Goodness. The crowd gasped in astonishment. At that moment, a black Audi A6 smoothly parked near the tunnel entrance. The secretary in the passenger seat promptly exited to open the rear door. A middle-aged man in a formal jacket, his expression stern, stepped out. It was Secretary Dekong. Upon seeing Secretary Dekong, Wang Chao rushed over, waving his hands. Secretary Dekong, this area is too dangerous. You should return to the car. Dekong cast a fleeting glance at Wang Chao, then surveyed the crowd, pointing at the wrecked GTR and the drug dealer being detained, proclaiming, Aren't the dangers all eliminated by you? Wang Chao was momentarily speechless, unsure how to respond. What exactly happened to cause gunfire? Were there any casualties? Dekong began to inspect the scene. Wang Chao followed closely behind, reporting, Fortunately, there were no fatalities. However, 2 plainclothes officers sustained minor injuries during the interception. This drug dealer is extremely cunning. He noticed us trailing him and hit the gas to escape. If it weren't for Yi Bai, the owner of the auto repair shop, driving his modified police motorcycle, we might have let those 2 drug dealers slip away. If they had escaped, they would have fled abroad, severing our leads and thwarting our operation once again. Dekong halted, turning to Wang Chao with astonishment. What did you just say? If they had escaped, the leads would be severed. Earlier, Dekong pressed. Wang Chao blinked. If it weren't for Yi Bai, the owner of the auto repair shop, we might not have intercepted that GTR. Dekong's eyes widened as he scanned the crowd, locking onto Yi Bai. When their gazes met, Yi Bai showed no signs of retreat. He was equally curious about the character of the Secretary Dekong, who had twice denied his approvals. At that moment, Su Ning stepped forward, saying, Secretary Dekong, I am Su Ning, a cadet from the police academy dispatched by the Capital Police Department. I was on a mission alongside Yi Bai, and it was I who requisitioned his vehicle. The modified police motorcycle he created not only boasts exceptional speed and performance, but also features a plasma fluid barrier that can slice through target vehicles and generate shields instantly. It possesses astonishing offensive capabilities while also providing bulletproof protection. Just moments ago, that drug dealer fired at me. Had it not been for this barrier, I might have lost my life. I would stake my future on the truth of every word I say. There is not a hint of falsehood. A police cadet? Dekong looked at Su Ning in surprise, swallowing hard. He approached the modified motorcycle, scrutinizing it closely, and frowned. I understand everything you've said, and I believe you. However, now that the drug dealer has been apprehended, we must promptly clear the scene to ensure traffic flow. Then he turned to the crowd, stating loudly, My secretary has already notified the traffic and fire departments to come. You may leave now. As Su Ning watched Secretary Dekong's retreating figure, she could only stomp her foot in frustration. Wang Chao hesitated for a moment before patting Yi Bai on the shoulder, saying helplessly, Brother, you still have your merits. I promise. Yeah, Yi Bai replied, feeling disheartened. This Secretary Dekong was indeed formidable. However, just because he, Secretary Dekong, refused to speak, did not mean Yi Bai had to remain silent. Soon, after the criminal investigation team completed their on-site photography and evidence collection, they gradually departed. The traffic department arrived to cordon off the road, while the fire department commenced towing and clearing the area. Secretary Dekong, after directing the scene, wiped the sweat from his forehead and noticed that Yi Bai and Su Ning were still present, a hint of satisfaction appearing in his eyes. After circling around, he approached them once more. Upon seeing Yi Bai, Secretary Dekong exchanged his previous demeanor for a smile and leisurely remarked, There were so many people just now. Now we can have a proper conversation. Su Ning looked at Yi Bai with surprise. Yi Bai, maintaining a cold expression, replied indifferently, What is there to discuss? What is there to talk about? Secretary Dekong paused, then said, Don't you want to secure the order from the traffic department? Isn't it you who denied it? What? Can you approve it now? But I'm afraid I'm too busy lately to entertain that, Yi Bai retorted, picking up a white helmet and placing it on his head. With a swift press of the accelerator, he rode off on the Crimson Flame Dragon Knight. Secretary Dekong was left dumbfounded as he watched Yi Bai's retreating figure. On National Highway 303, Yi Bai sped along on the Crimson Flame Dragon Knight. Su Ning, seated behind him, couldn't contain her curiosity and asked, after waiting so long, I thought you intended to defeat Secretary Dekong with your sincerity. I did consider it, but all things have their limits, Yi Bai replied coldly. Su Ning raised an eyebrow. So you waited just to refuse Secretary Dekong face-to-face and vent your frustrations? Do you think I'm petty? I simply desire to indulge in a little revenge. What of the secretary? My humble private auto repair shop, Who I collaborate with is hardly under his jurisdiction. Yibai scoffed. What about your orders? Su Ning inquired, turning her eyes. There will always be a way when faced with challenges. If a path cannot be traversed, I shall forge it with technology. Yibai declared, suddenly accelerating. Ah! Su Ning screamed, instinctively clinging tightly to Yibai. Chapter 34. 1 million shock value received. Did Secretary de Kong regret? The night swiftly passed, due to the live broadcast and the presence of others filming. The incident where a police motorcycle transformed into a malevolent spirit rider and executed a precise maneuver on a GTR spread rapidly across the internet. While the masses were mere spectators, the officials privy to first-hand surveillance and eyewitness accounts were profoundly astonished. In the office, Secretary de Kong watched as his secretary, Jin Yang, forwarded him the video recording. The footage showcased Yi Bai's extraordinary skills while operating the Crimson Flame Dragon Knight, leaving him in disbelief. Had I not seen it with my own eyes, I would scarcely have believed it. If not for the knowledge of the power of technology, I might even question my own beliefs. This Yi Bai is truly a talent. Reflecting on Yi Bai's words from the previous night, Secretary de Kong slowly set down his phone, leaned back in his chair, and sighed deeply, lighting a cigarette and savoring the smoke. At that moment, a knock echoed from the office door. Secretary de Kong exhaled a long plume of smoke and said, "Come in." The door creaked open as Jin Yang entered. Closing it behind him, Secretary de Kong, the police department just issued an order. Oh, what order? Secretary de Kong straightened up, attentively listening. Jin Yang replied. Secretary Zhang from the police department remarked that our Huadu district has truly produced a remarkable talent. This individual has developed a new type of modified police motorcycle that is highly beneficial for traffic police, anti-drug units, and armed police, possessing significant military potential. Secretary Zhang is now awaiting us to locate this talent to report to Jinghai and Lonker Academy. It may even be promoted nationwide. Congratulations, Secretary de Kong. Your career is set to ascend to new heights. Secretary de Kong was internally shocked, yet his exterior remained calm and composed, revealing only a hint of solemnity. Jin Yang, sensing something amiss, cautiously asked, Secretary de Kong, is there something wrong? Secretary de Kong took a deep drag from his cigarette, extinguished the butt, and declared, immediately gather all available leaders for a meeting. Jin Yang was startled. Secretary de Kong, are you holding a seminar or assigning tasks? This may affect venue arrangements. Please inform me. Venue arrangements? No, it won't be an issue. Our destination is the Yunshao Auto Repair Factory, and Lei Chuyang must attend. Secretary de Kong suddenly rose, hastily exiting the office. Yunshao Auto Repair Factory. A night had passed, and on the following morning, Yi Bai learned that Lei Chuyang had broken down on the road the previous night, never reaching the tunnel entrance, and had spent the night in Xinguang village. Returning to Huadu only in the morning, Yi Bai lamented, what a shame to miss such an opportunity for a first-class merit. Yi Bai lazily stretched, letting out a tremendous yawn before springing out of bed. Youth has its advantages. One can indulge in such activities without consequence, even pulling off 18 rounds in one night. Alas, he was still single. Last night, Aluo and the others were live-streaming, and there should be some footage circulating. While it might not be extremely popular, it should still net a few tens of thousands of shock value, right? Check shock value, Yi Bai murmured. The system had been pinging notifications in his mind throughout the previous day, but in the urgency of the moment, he had disregarded them, opting for a good night's sleep. Current shock value, 1,008, 611, 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. 1 million? This can actually yield me 1 million shock value? Yi Bai was overjoyed. 1 million. This could easily purchase a fully equipped vehicle, or perhaps 8 or 9 basic versions. And the basic models are equivalent to the Crimson Flame Dragon Knight. Fully equipped. Unimaginable. Let me open the magic sound to see the situation. Yi Bai cheerfully activated the magic sound. Upon entering, he was greeted by a flood of private messages from fans. Pulling down the notifications revealed a staggering 50 to 60 messages. The account, Tu Guang Car Modification King, had unexpectedly surpassed 10,000 followers after a few days of absence. Meanwhile, a Water Peach had sent him a staggering 99 messages. A Water Peach, Master, when will you start streaming? I miss you. A Water Peach, Master, will you stream today? I haven't gifted anyone else lately, hehe. A Water Peach, Master, was that police motorcycle last night your modification? I think I saw it was you. Why didn't you stream it yourself? I wanted to see what it was like. Police motorcycle? What is that term? Yi Bai stared at the video sent by Water Peach, utterly amused. The video quality was poor, but it depicted a police motorcycle that suddenly burst into flames, illuminating the screen at that moment. The barrage of comments flooded in, welcoming the return of the malevolent spirit rider. This will be my last transformation. Is this the police motorcycle? Quite intriguing. If traffic police could ride police motorcycles, then I would be the first to charge in. Yi Bai shook his head helplessly. No. This is clearly the Crimson Flame Dragon Knight. He resolved to stream soon and engage with his viewers, seeking a lively discussion. However, only such a unique nickname as the police motorcycle could attract more traffic and garner additional shock value. Even now, Yi Bai's mind continued to receive prompts of increasing shock value. Who among the lucky ones would be able to claim my fully equipped modification? Yi Bai sighed. At that moment, a series of knocks echoed at the door. Could it be Uncle returning? That seemed unlikely. He should be at the kindergarten at this hour. Su Ning? Well, she should be at work too. Who could it be? Yi Bai followed the sound, opened the door, and was greeted by the trio of a Luo, a Long, and a Yao. What brings you here? Come to exact revenge? Yi Bai casually placed his hands in his pockets and spoke softly. A Long quickly offered a sheepish smile, saying, yesterday, it was a Luo and a Yao who were being thoughtless and foolish to ask our cousin to come, causing you trouble, master. Our intentions to modify the vehicle are sincere. Modify the vehicle? Yi Bai's eyes brightened. It was as if he had stumbled upon a glimmer of hope amidst the gloom. Just when he was troubled, the order had arrived. Oh, I see. I thought you had already made the modifications. The car is still here, right? Bring it in, he said, pushing open the door and leisurely walking inside, ready to prepare for his third vehicle modification. Minutes passed, yet a Luo and the others had not entered. 10 more minutes went by, and still, nothing. Yi Bai furrowed his brow. What on earth are those three doing? Are they still going to modify the car? Stepping outside, he was taken aback to find several leaders clad in administrative jackets standing at the entrance of the small Yunxiao auto repair shop. At the forefront stood Secretary De Kong. Secretary De Kong, what brings you esteemed leaders here? Yi Bai inquired with a cheerful smile. Ha ha ha, Secretary De Kong chuckled awkwardly, his demeanor light and cordial. I learned yesterday that Comrade Yi Bai was still upset, so I specially came today to apologize. Yesterday, I was in the wrong, and I acknowledge my mistake. We are all in Huadu, eager to contribute, so please do not take it to heart. Apologize? Yi Bai chuckled, pointing at the crowd behind Secretary De Kong. With such a grand display, I can't help but feel this is more of a reprimand than an apology. How could it be? Secretary De Kong explained with a smile. They are all here to learn. At this moment, Secretary Jin Yang also smiled brightly and added, Indeed, Boss Yi. You alone manage an entire auto repair shop and have even modified vehicles capable of intercepting drug traffickers. Many of our leaders can hardly manage their own responsibilities. So we are here specifically to learn from you. Yi Bai sneered coldly, feeling quite speechless. Why did they choose this moment to learn? Not earlier, not later? Seeing that Yi Bai remained unmoved, Jin Yang quickly turned to Lei Chuyang with a fierce expression and spoke in a low voice. Lei Chuyang hesitated, his face showing discomfort. After a moment, he closed his eyes and charged forward. Little Yi, it's me. I'm Old Lei. Listen. Our Transportation Bureau's order still needs to proceed. This time, I will approve it directly. The payment can be settled within 3 days. Normally, we take about a month to clear other orders. Seeing this, Wang Chao quickly chimed in. Yes, yes. If it weren't for your Crimson Flame Dragon Rider yesterday, those 2 drug traffickers would have escaped. Our criminal investigation team, the armed police, and the drug enforcement team truly need your Crimson Flame Dragon Rider. Please accept the order and contribute greatly to our police efforts. Yi Bai's expression darkened as he looked at the still somewhat smug Secretary De Kong, his face growing even graver. Comrade Yi Bai, we in Huadu sincerely wish to collaborate with you, Secretary De Kong said earnestly. Yi Bai surveyed the crowd and replied coldly, with so many people here, I do not wish to embarrass you, but everything has its order. Someone has already placed an order ahead of you. Secretary De Kong was taken aback and quickly responded. So, does that mean Boss Yi has agreed to cooperate with our Huadu Police Bureau? I already mentioned that someone has placed an order ahead of you. However, I cannot disclose the details regarding how many people, Yi Bai replied with a smile. In that moment, Secretary De Kong was left completely stunned. If there were countless individuals ahead in line, would that not mean they would never collaborate? Seeing Secretary De Kong at a loss, Yi Bai stepped around him and called out to the group of leaders. Hey, weren't you all here to learn? Come, come. My Yunxiao Auto Repair Shop welcomes you wholeheartedly. Rest assured, you are all esteemed leaders and excellent officials. Meals are on the house. However, accommodation is out of the question, as this is a small workshop. The leaders exchanged glances, uncertain and hesitant, none daring to agree or refuse. Secretary De Kong, helpless, closed his eyes, then slowly opened them again with a sigh, and turned to the crowd. What are you all waiting for? Comrade Yi Bai is giving you this opportunity. Shouldn't you seize it? After today, each of you must submit at least an 800-word reflection. Instantly, the leaders were left dumbfounded. They glanced at Yi Bai with discontent, but when he looked back at them, they fidgeted, not daring to express any displeasure. Ultimately, they had no choice but to obediently enter the auto repair shop and ponder how to write that 800-word reflection. Before long, Aluo and the others finally dragged the heavy motorcycle to the entrance using a tricycle driven by an elderly man. Yi Bai could not help but ask, "Why did it take you so long to arrive?" Aluo wiped the sweat from his forehead and sighed. "My bike was taken by this old man." "Taken?" The old man retorted angrily. "You young man speak so rudely. I am a scrap collector. I saw an abandoned motorcycle by the roadside that had been sitting there for days. Surely that means it was unwanted? Isn't it just garbage? I took it back to my scrap yard. What's the problem with that? But I showed you my driver's license. The license plate on it matches the motorcycle's plate number. Why won't you return it, insisting on dragging this out?" Aluo exclaimed, infuriated. The old man boisterously replied, "I never went to school. How would I recognize a driver's license? I passed my tricycle test after many attempts. All right, I've delivered the bike. You owe me $12.50 for the scrap and delivery." "But it's only $250. Aluo protested. "It's not $250. It's $1250. The old man shot back. "Are you kidding me?" Aluo erupted, seething. "Hey, let us not argue. We need to focus on the important matters," a Yao quickly interjected. Aluo was even more frustrated, thinking, "This bike is mine. Why do I have to pay for it? Truly, what terrible luck." At that moment, Yi Bai could no longer hold back his laughter. "Now that is indeed unfortunate." Eventually, Aluo paid the old man without hesitation, and he, along with a Long and a Yao, dragged the damaged motorcycle into the repair shop. However, just a few steps inside, they were shocked to see the traffic bureau chief, Lei Chuyong, sweeping the floor. A few more steps revealed the labor reform director cleaning windows. Casting his gaze to the side, he saw the education bureau chief staring blankly at the sign of Yunshao Auto Repair Shop, while the civil affairs bureau chief was bent over, taking photos of the shelves in the workshop, even recording. "What on earth is happening here, master?" Aluo lamented, looking at Yi Bai with a distressed face. Yi Bai rubbed his nose and replied nonchalantly, "Oh, those people? They are here to learn at my auto repair shop. It's no issue. You just focus on modifying your vehicles." At that moment, Jin Yong suddenly walked by, clearing his throat several times. With each cough, Aluo and the others felt a jolt of anxiety, particularly when they saw Secretary De Kong, an exemplary figure often featured in the news. They were even more terrified. "Ha ha ha. Master Yi, can we come back another day?" Aluo nervously chuckled. Yes. We still want to make a living in Huadu. Not that we want to take it easy, but we need to gather some funds. After all, 300,000 is no small amount." A Yao chimed in. Yi Bai looked at the three, fully aware of their apprehension. With a resigned wave of his hand, he said, "You may leave now." "All right, master, we will definitely come back another day." Aaron hurriedly nodded and bowed, grabbing the necks of Arrow and Aya, and immediately fled, abandoning even his heavy motorcycle. This situation persisted until noon, when the leaders, burdened with official duties, finally departed one after another. Sighing, Yi Bai gazed at the empty auto repair shop, feeling a twinge of regret, yet remaining undeterred. After all, he had gained a modest reputation online. Want to modify a vehicle? There were plenty of avenues available. With a toss of his hair, Yi Bai opened his phone, activated the streaming app, and just as he entered the live broadcast room, a middle-aged man, covered in mud and dust, unexpectedly walked into the repair shop. The man, with a dark countenance and bloodshot eyes framed by heavy bags, seemed to seize upon Yi Bai as if he were a lifeline, hurriedly inquiring, "Boss, can you fix a 100-ton truck here?" Chapter 36. Are you the 100-ton truck that was chastised by a crane? Yi Bai's interest peaked at the mention of the 100-ton truck. "We can certainly repair it, but it may be a bit pricey. Are you agreeable to that?" The man clapped his hands, pulling Yi Bai out of the repair shop, exclaiming, "Wonderful. Money is not an issue. I just hope you can fix it quickly. I'm in a rush to haul goods to Gue City. All right, let me take a look first." Upon exiting the shop, Yi Bai noticed a stationary 100-ton truck devoid of cargo. However, its front was battered as if struck by a powerful fist, with shattered glass and a distorted hood. The intake vents resembling a row of teeth had fallen off, making it appear like a wreck. Truly remarkable driving skills to bring it here. Scanning the vehicle, Yi Bai murmured internally. Scanning vehicle. Model, Dongfeng Tianlong. Age, 55 years. Detected modifications on the vehicle. Original manganese steel frame. Thickness 810 mm, replaced with 20 mm thick steel plates. Welded with deformation-resistant supports. Number of steel leaf springs increased from 12 to 20. Hydraulic auxiliary suspension added. Equipped with tires rated for over 16 layers. Chaoyang CM958. With a single tire load capacity of 10 tons. Cargo box height raised to over 2 meters. Original height limit 15 meters. Volume expanded threefold. Full load capacity, 125 tons. Modification rating. Average? Yi-Bai furrowed his brow at this rating. He had assumed F was the lowest grade, only to discover that levels existed beneath it. Average. It hadn't even passed the system's discerning eye. Scanning continues. Detected vehicle damage. A pillar, front windshield shattered. Right door inoperable. Intercooler, radiator ruptured, coolant leaking, engine prone to overheating. Steering linkage bent, front wheels misaligned. Towing pin worn, semi-trailer connection unstable. Front end of the frame dented. Cracks appearing in the chassis. Wiring harness compressed, dashboard displaying fault codes. Hydraulic lift cylinder and oil pipe ruptured. Scan result. Modifications possible at this moment, the truck driver asked. Boss, how is my truck? Can it be modified? Yi-Bai frowned slightly. It can be modified, but the damage is quite severe. Look at the cabin. It's already deformed. If I'm not mistaken, the engine compartment must also be damaged. When you drive, do the front wheels show signs of uneven wear or drifting? What? The truck driver stared at Yi-Bai in astonishment, exclaiming, how did you know? It seems there's a reason for the price. Yi-Bai smiled silently. Noticing Yi-Bai's calm demeanor, the truck driver couldn't help but say, Boss, I have a small request. I wonder if you could accommodate me? Do tell. Yi-Bai raised an eyebrow. He feared nothing more than a customer without requests. The truck driver hesitated. I just hope to reinforce the front end significantly. The front end? Yes, the front end. It needs to be reinforced to withstand anything. The truck driver insisted. Yi-Bai stroked his chin, ready to agree when the truck driver suddenly slapped his thigh and added, Boss, you must help me with this. I'm furious. You wouldn't believe it. I'm the king of the road. I was bullied by a crane. Oh, Yi-Bai asked curiously. Isn't a crane just a lifting vehicle? The truck driver, filled with indignation, retorted, that driver, damn it. He was supposed to yield because I was going straight, but he didn't. He arrogantly crashed into me with his crane, boasting a massive arm weighing dozens of tons. I, the king of the road, can't tolerate this. Usually, I'm the one who crashes into others. And that driver had the audacity to act smug after paying me off. What a fool. Honestly, if you can modify it, I'm willing to pay any price. The truck driver declared, his eyes ablaze. Goodness. So that's what happened with the crane. You, the king of the road, were reprimanded by a crane? I can empathize with your grievances. I'm a straightforward person. I want to charge you extra, just an additional 100,000. If that crane crashes into your truck again, I'll compensate you tenfold. Yi-Bai declared confidently. The truck driver was momentarily stunned. Then, pointing at Yi-Bai, he exclaimed, Are you serious about your words? Absolutely. I'm here to establish a century-old business. I want to run away. Yi-Bai proclaimed boldly. All right, I'll add that 100,000. I'll bring you the truck now, and I want to challenge that driver. The truck driver shouted. Yi-Bai was taken aback. Is he serious about this? However, a 100-ton truck against a crane? How intriguing. You'll just have to wait. In 2 days, I'll guarantee you a truck with an indestructible front. Even Optimus Prime wouldn't dare to collide with it. But before that, I'll need a deposit. Yi-Bai added. How much for the deposit? The truck driver frowned. 120,000, Yi-Bai replied. What? The truck driver was stunned. How much does it cost to fix a truck here? Originally 300,000. And with the additional front modifications, it'll be 400,000, Yi-Bai replied nonchalantly. Really? You're charging 400,000 for a truck repair? The truck driver was frozen in place. But then he remembered Yi-Bai's guarantee of tenfold compensation. Of course, you can refuse. My business operates on honesty. And I never take advantage of customers. Everything is at the customer's discretion, Yi-Bai asserted. I'll do it. I'll go ahead. The truck driver gritted his teeth, the flames of anger still simmering in his eyes. Soon after, the truck driver transferred the 120,000 to Yi-Bai, his expression a mix of fury and tears. What a shame he isn't an actor. His emotions were so genuine. Ding. 120,000 received. With the additional 120,000 in his account, a long-lost smile finally graced Yi-Bai's face. As for the situation with Secretary De Kong and Arrow, whether to modify or not was irrelevant. Without even broadcasting, they had encountered natural traffic from customers. The system upgrade? Just around the corner. Moreover, this was a 100-ton truck. What kind of power would a fully equipped 100-ton truck possess? That would undoubtedly astonish the world. Chapter 37. Why is the modified 100-ton truck front so pointed? Soon, Yi Bai instructed the truck driver to slowly drive the damaged 100-ton truck into the auto repair shop. The massive 100-ton truck filled the small repair shop to capacity, leaving only the edges for any modifications. It was somewhat troublesome, yet the prospect of working on such a colossal vehicle was undeniably exhilarating. The system presented a total of 12 proposals, including composite armor schemes, bionic scale armor designs, holographic perception arrays, hybrid power core systems, and the Holy Shield Interception Net Active Protection System, among others. Each was intriguing, and the ideas were quite remarkable. However, it was only at this moment that Yi Bai realized that the so-called million full configuration merely referred to the complete setup of a small vehicle, like a heavy motorcycle. For something as substantial as a 100-ton truck, a million? That would be the bare minimum. The true full configuration would demand tens of millions, perhaps even billions of shock value. It seemed he could only strategically select some practical options. After much deliberation, Yi Bai finally settled on the most economical choice: Customized Modification Plan 1, Doomsday War Chariot. Conical front, forged from tungsten steel alloy. With a hardness of HRC 90 and a melting point of 3,400 degrees, the tip coated with diamond to significantly enhance penetration, measuring 25 meters in length. With a cone angle of 30 degrees and a base diameter of 12 meters. It is complemented by a double-layer manganese steel beam with a thickness of 25 millimeters. Internally filled with a carbon fiber honeycomb structure, enhancing bending strength by 300. Price, $620,000 shock value. Holographic perception array, 4,360-degree panoramic cameras and thermal imaging devices. Detection radius of 1 kilometer. Laser radar capable of scanning terrain and automatically marking potential threats, such as roadblocks and ambushers, displayed on an OLED transparent screen on the vehicle, projecting external influences in real time and completely eliminating blind spots. Price, $340,000 shock value. Hybrid power engine. The main engine is a V12 diesel engine, 2,000 horsepower, with an electric turbocharger, short-term burst of 3,000 horsepower. And the backup energy source consists of a rooftop folding solar panel and a high-capacity lithium battery pack. Price, $140,000 shock value. Indeed, with just these three modifications, Yi Bai had spent $100,000 shock value. Yet, every point spent was undoubtedly worth the investment. In the initial phase laboratory, after a series of tests, Yi Bai discovered that the upgraded 100-ton truck genuinely had no blind spots in its field of vision. Even beneath the front, behind, and on the sides, cameras and displays could detect everything. Moreover, there was a small laser radar and thermal imaging that could reveal any enemy vehicles within a kilometer radius. Should he add rocket launchers or heavy motorcycles to the truck, it would surely transform into a war machine in an instant. Of course, for the truck driver, Master Sun, such modifications were unnecessary and would complicate matters. However, as long as no weapons were added, there was no risk of unwanted attention. Furthermore, this hybrid engine ensured that the 100-ton truck could function under various conditions, even running low on fuel, as it could rely on the solar battery for power. The aspect that Yi Bai valued most was the incredibly powerful conical front, priced at $620,000 shock value. Its sturdiness was extraordinary, and its penetration capability was astonishing. Even if his uncle Xiao Yunshan's kindergarten bus came, it would be crumpled in front of the 100-ton truck equipped with the conical front. One must remember that it was made of nickel-based superalloy. If purchased with shock value instead of being system-provided, it would cost a staggering 5 million shock value. Investing $620,000 shock value to leverage 5 million was truly a bargain. Next, he needed to study and learn the specific modification techniques in detail to save both time and costs during the actual upgrade. In the initial phase laboratory, Yi Bai immersed himself in the task until he had exhausted every last bit of shock value before reluctantly exiting. Despite not utilizing high-speed cameras or laser interferometers this time, he still employed them for one simple reason. He hadn't used them in the last modification, so why not indulge this time? Beep. Your available time in the initial phase laboratory is insufficient. Automatic renewal failed. Your shock value balance is insufficient. Current available shock value, 86. Exiting the initial phase laboratory, Yi Bai wearily rubbed his temples and couldn't help but lament that the shock value was simply not enough. Without the initial phase laboratory, he would need vehicle modification equipment worth tens of millions, such as industrial machinery, forklifts, hydraulic presses, industrial boilers, and laser cutting machines. Not to mention the fact that he wouldn't even have room to store them. Fortunately, Long Country is the only nation in the world with a complete range of industrial categories, although some high-tech fields still lag behind foreign countries. Achieving a modification upgrade for a 100-ton truck was still more than feasible. With a click, he placed his order online. Yi Bai decisively purchased nearly all custom materials, opting to do what he could himself and only sending what was absolutely necessary to the factory for processing. Even so, he still spent an ample 200,000 shock value to acquire all the equipment and materials. After several days of effort, he successfully constructed and fully installed the 3 major devices onto the 100-ton truck. Submit the vehicle. This vehicle surely exceeds any grade, right? After completing everything, Yi Bai promptly submitted the vehicle. The system's prompt resonated in his mind as expected. Scanning the vehicle, successful scan. Submitting vehicle data, submission successful. Comprehensive evaluation. The modified vehicle is rated E, comparable to C, but does not reach C level. What? Just comparable? Yi Bai couldn't help but wonder what distinguished a true C-grade vehicle. Beep. Congratulations, host. Your task progress has increased 310. And you have received a milestone reward, Mastery of Military Command. What? Yi Bai was not surprised, but rather incredulous. Wasn't he just a mechanic? How was he awarded Mastery in Military Command? Was that reasonable? Never mind. A reward is a reward, Yi Bai said nonchalantly. In the next moment, a torrent of information surged through Yi Bai's cerebral cortex. Mastery of Military Command. It primarily encompasses strategic decision-making, tactical execution, resource allocation, and information control across multiple dimensions. The core content consists of 3 aspects: strategic command, tactical command, and information and psychological warfare. Beyond the basic land, sea, and air forces, it also incorporates AI-assisted decision-making, unmanned warfare, near-Earth orbital space, and cyber warfare, and even some elements of interstellar combat. Not bad, not bad. While it may not be immediately useful, it is certainly indispensable. Furthermore, I will be leading employees in the future. With my current command skills, commanding a division of thousands should be well within my capabilities, Yi Bai grinned, revealing his pearly whites. Just then, a knock echoed from outside the auto repair shop. Hey, is this Boss Yi? Is my 100-ton truck ready today? It's been over a week, shouted the truck driver, Sun Jishui. It's ready. Come in and take a look. Yi Bai brushed off the dust from his clothes and sighed in relief. Great. Sun Jishui's eyes lit up as he rushed in with a large 1L water bottle in hand. As he approached Yi Bai, he eagerly gazed at his beloved vehicle, only to find it covered with a 3-color waterproof cloth. This was reasonable, considering it had been raining frequently, and a storm was forecasted for tonight. However, he noticed that the truck's front, once rounded, now appeared sharply pointed, markedly different from his recollection of the 100-ton truck. Curiously, Sun Jishui asked, Boss Yi, why does the front of my modified 100-ton truck look so sharp? Yi Bai gazed at the transformed behemoth, the 100-ton king, and couldn't help but chuckle. You know, my upgraded 100-ton king feels as if it has been injected with vigor. All its parameters are soaring. And didn't you say it needed to topple cranes? I've specially prepared this sharp, conical front for you. With that, Yi Bai abruptly pulled back the tricolored waterproof cloth, revealing the true form of the 100-ton king. The sharp tungsten steel cone head resembled the fangs of a colossal beast, its 30 sharp points glistening coldly, while the surface's coating reflected a chilling light, as if it could tear through any obstacle. Coupled with the precision and seamless welding of the armored frame, it radiated an elegant force of domination. Ding. Shock value, 5. Wow. Sun Jishui stared in astonishment at the rejuvenated old comrade before him. Although he wasn't well versed in technology, he certainly appreciated aesthetics, especially that hammer-shaped facade, which appeared as if it could cleave through anything. Boss Yi, this modification is something else, Sun Jishui exclaimed, genuinely giving a thumbs up. Yi Bai smiled nonchalantly. It's all right, really. In fact, aside from the front, the entire body has undergone significant alterations. Oh, how so? Sun Jishui inquired eagerly. Yi Bai suddenly pulled out his phone and began filming. Master Sun, mind showing your face? Sun Jishui was momentarily bewildered. Yi Bai turned the phone around to reveal a live streaming interface. Hey, I'm just a muddy-legged fellow. It doesn't matter whether my face is shown or not. Besides, if Boss Yi dares to live stream the vehicle inspection, I'll trust you even more. Sun Jishui waved his hand dismissively. All right then, would you mind holding the phone for me? Yi Bai replied. Sun Jishui stood stunned for a moment, but did not refuse, reaching out to take the phone. With Yi Bai's fan base steadily increasing to 130,000 over the past few days, as soon as the broadcast began, dozens of fans flooded in. Observing this scene, the viewers in the live stream erupted in laughter. Wait, The customer is serving the boss. Master Bao, you're quite impressive. This is definitely not scripted. Master Bao, you finally started streaming. I've missed you. Quickly tell me how that police ghost fire is achieved. I want to see it. Wow, I want to see it too. Hello, dear viewers. Today, I'm here to live stream a vehicle inspection again. I noticed someone mentioned the police ghost fire. That term is inaccurate. It should be called the Crimson Flame Dragon Rider. When I get the chance, I'll showcase it. But today, I'm actually presenting a modified 100-ton King. As Yibai watched the live stream, he mimicked the styles of various online streamers and surprisingly found himself quite adept at it. The 100-ton King? Previously, you modified a kindergarten school bus to leap over the 100-ton King. Now you're modifying the 100-ton King? What are you planning to launch next? Blind guess, a sewage truck. Wow, if it's a sewage truck, that scene would be explosive. Ha 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 ha, reading the comments. Yibai couldn't help but admire the creativity of this generation of netizens. However, he had no intention of modifying a sewage truck. It would be unbearable. Master Bao, Boss Yi, could you just pull off the tricolor cloth? I want to see what it looks like post-modification. Sun Jishui shouted, clutching the phone. Sure thing. Yibai patted his chest and declared, Come, it's time to witness a miracle. With that, Yibai grasped the tricolored cloth and dashed backward. With each step, the cloth followed suit, being lifted until half of it was revealed. The live stream was immediately filled with exclamations. The sight before them was the 100-ton King, its sharp front resembling the prow of a massive ship, while the body was enveloped in a layer of armor. The corners were no longer right-angled, but instead curved like that of a vessel. The previously weakest link of the 100-ton King had been transformed, creating a seamless fusion between the body and the head. Overall, it resembled a grand vessel capable of traversing land. Ding. Shock value, 4 ding. Shock value, 5 ding. Shock value, 3 ding. What in the world? Master Bao, you're truly a talent. Transforming the 100-ton King into Noah's Ark? Okay. I didn't see the other 100-ton Kings under the vehicle. I thought they were speed bumps. Master Bao, you've essentially put a giant ship on the road, underwater. I mistake it for a whale, right? I'm curious about one thing. Since the 100-ton King operates on land, won't it collect a truckload of water if it rains? Noah's Ark? Actually, I wanted to name it the Doomsday War Machine. But now I think Noah's Ark seems quite fitting. So, everyone, including Master Sun, why don't we live stream the vehicle inspection together and see the overall performance of this vehicle? Yibai smiled. Upon hearing this, Sun Jishui hurriedly strode over, excitement radiating from him. Boss Yi, since we need to inspect the vehicle anyway, why not inspect it all the way to Gue City? ISNT Gue City, at least 100,000 miles away. Yibai hesitated. Sun Jishui patted his pocket, finding nothing, and decisively declared, You take me to Gue City. And if I win against that damned crane driver in a collision, I'll give you a reward of 100,000. 100,000. Just for driving a car. You're earning 100,000. Wait, are you saying Sun Jishui is betting even bigger than that guy? Alright, if that's the case, I'm even more thrilled. Yibai thought, feeling honored. With that, he helplessly rubbed his forehead before turning to the audience in the live stream, announcing, Ladies and gentlemen, next, I'll take you to Gue City to witness a peak showdown. The 100-ton King, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, versus the Crane King of National Highway Tongtian, to see who truly reigns supreme tonight in South China. Are we really going to collide with the Crane King this time? The 100-ton King is going to clash with the Crane King? That's the Crane King. A golden saint. Does a record of 9 wins and 1 draw joke around? In the National Highway, there's no absolute superiority. It's all about dominance. When the 100-ton King faces another vehicle, it's like a father against a son, but against the Crane, it's a grandfather against a grandson. The Crane King is the grandfather, while the 100-ton King is the grandson. You don't even need the Crane King. I, on a Yuzhong 3-wheeled motorcycle, could load a row of steel bars and transform into the Western Liang General, Ma Chao, flipping the 100-ton King's front in a single move. Goodness. Observing the barrage of comments, Yibai couldn't help but frown slightly. He never anticipated so many people would underestimate the 100-ton King. Today, he must vindicate the 100-ton King. Chapter 39. The 100-ton King versus the kindergarten school bus? Just as Yibai pondered, a familiar figure approached outside the auto repair shop. Uncle, aren't you picking up the children from kindergarten today? Yibai asked curiously. Uncle Xiao Yunshan approached, carrying a bag of lychees and a box of Talansu. Smiling as he said, ISNT there been heavy rain recently? The kindergarten decided to take a break from today until next Monday due to the previous incident. Plus, lychee prices have dropped recently, so I thought I'd buy some good ones to treat you. Lychees with Talunsu are sweet and tangy. Delicious. I'll let you taste my culinary skills later. Goodness, uncle, let us put the food aside for now. I have a significant business to attend to. I need to go to Gue City. Would you like to come and help me earn a little extra? Yi Bai raised an eyebrow with a smile. Gue City? So far, just you alone? Uncle Xiao Yunshan looked at Yi Bai and Sun Jishui in surprise. Yi Bai waved his hand dismissively. How far can Gue City be? I'll be heading to Qingbei University after the summer break. That's crossing most of Longhua. That's still different. I'm happy to help. How about this? I'll accompany you. I'll live stream and, while we're at it, whip up some good food for you and this gentleman. Uncle Xiao Yunshan said generously. Sun Jishui scratched the back of his head, feeling somewhat embarrassed. No worries. Our Yinxiao auto repair shop is thriving. We aren't lacking in sustenance. Let us just eat and move on. Xiao Yunshan casually took the phone from Sun Jishui, which was meant for Yi Bai's live broadcast. Yi Bai suggested, shall we set off? Oh, by the way, I haven't obtained my truck driving license, so I can't drive. Master Sun, it's up to you. Of course. I will inform you about the other functions of the vehicle along the way. Not a problem. Master Sun promptly climbed into the heavy-duty truck. Xiao Yunshan gazed at the conical front of the vehicle, exclaiming, this truck's design is quite unique. I wonder how it compares to the one that previously flew off the ground. From the driver's seat, Sun Jishui chuckled, what kind of vehicle did you drive? One that could make a heavy-duty truck fly? Are you joking? It was a kindergarten school bus, Xiao Yunshan replied nonchalantly. A kindergarten school bus? Sun Jishui nearly burst out laughing. Xiao Yunshan's expression darkened. You don't believe me? How about I bring my school bus over? And we can crash into each other to see whose vehicle is tougher? Bring it on. I'm not afraid. Sun Jishui exclaimed eagerly. Wait, hold on. What? Yi Bai, caught in the middle, was unsure whether they should actually collide or not. The live stream audience reacted. Wow, is this an iconic scene being reenacted? Previously, the kindergarten bus flew off the heavy-duty truck. Now, the heavy-duty truck is upgraded and seeking revenge. Who do you think will win? It doesn't matter who wins. The key is that whoever loses will lose face. This is quite interesting. Soon, Sun Jishui drove the heavy-duty truck out of the Yinxiao auto repair shop and headed towards the suburbs. Meanwhile, Xiao Yunshan returned to the villa to bring over the kindergarten school bus. The two vehicles faced each other in an open area in the countryside, positioned 500 meters apart. Ready for the showdown. Yi Bai stood in the middle, holding his phone, acting as both referee and broadcaster. Ladies and gentlemen, watch closely and learn. The mighty heavy-duty truck versus the school bus, known for its resilience. Let's see whose vehicle is tougher. After a 10-second countdown, both parties would hit the brakes simultaneously and collide. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. With Yi Bai's shout, Sun Jishui and Xiao Yunshan rev their engines, charging toward each other, with the roar of engines and clouds of dust rising. The number of viewers in the live stream soared from a few dozen to over 1,000 due to this thrilling test. What kind of host is this? So bold to have a heavy-duty truck crash into a school bus right off the bat? This host has some serious clout to do this. I have a feeling that school bus is going to get crushed by the heavy-duty truck. You newcomers clearly haven't seen the news. The heavy-duty truck will be the one flying. Wow, I think I've seen this video before. It's about to happen for real? The 500 meters between the two speeding vehicles would close in mere seconds. As the two trucks approached each other, Yi Bai found himself nervously sweating for both drivers. He never expected to witness such a dramatic showdown before facing off with the Crane King. Boom! Just as Yi Bai's thoughts raced, the kindergarten school bus driven by Xiao Yunshan collided head-on with the heavy-duty truck piloted by Sun Jishui. The impact created a deafening sound, sending both drivers rocking back and forth like springs in their seats. Dust and debris filled the air. Notification, shock value 5. Notification, shock value 5. Notification, shock value 5. The audience in the live stream was astonished that Yi Bai would actually let the two massive vehicles collide. Before this, Yi Bai had not solicited any votes, likes, or gifts from the viewers. This host is something else. I'm definitely following him. After this real crash, regardless of the outcome, I'm sending 100 hearts. Yi Bai's follower count surged by hundreds, and the live stream's popularity continued to climb, with many viewers spontaneously liking and gifting, including helicopters and love balloons. However, at that moment, Yi Bai was too focused on the outcome to notice. He was just as eager to see what would happen. As the dust settled, both trucks reappeared in view, closely aligned, without either flying off. It was noteworthy that the size of the kindergarten school bus could not be compared to the heavy-duty truck unless the school bus's weight exceeded that of the heavy-duty truck. Wait, is that kindergarten school bus really that impressive? It didn't fly off? Haha. It's the same one I know that can make a heavy-duty truck fly. How impressive. But wait, it's supposed to fly off, right? Why is the heavy-duty truck still here? At that moment, Xiao Yunshan and Sun Jishui got out of their vehicles and approached Yi Bai, each expressing their confusion. Sun Jishui asked, Master Yi, this doesn't make sense. Didn't you say my truck could make the Crane King fly? How is it that the kindergarten bus didn't even budge? Xiao Yunshan added, Nephew, this is also puzzling. Didn't you say the kindergarten bus was indestructible? Why does it have a scar on its front now? It looks less like a school bus. Chapter 40. The scar on the front? More like Hao Nan's mobile office. Don't rush. Let me explain each issue, Yi Bai said while stroking his chin, gathering his thoughts. It's simple. I modified that kindergarten school bus. If your heavy-duty truck hadn't been modified, it would have flown off. Look, it even left a scar on the bus. Previously, the heavy-duty truck wouldn't have even scratched the paint on the school bus. Sun Jishui was perplexed. Yi Bai then turned to Xiao Yunshan, saying, Uncle, you must know that this is the heavy-duty truck I invested heavily in modifying. With that front, even the Crane King would be in trouble. If the school bus can withstand it, isn't that extraordinary? Xiao Yunshan looked puzzled and pressed, but there's a scar on it. Doesn't that make it look more like Hao Nan's mobile office? Yi Bai retorted, Isn't that your preference, uncle? Xiao Yunshan paused, then chuckled as he rubbed his head. You know, I may be wealthy, but I lack the charisma of an older brother. Driving this school bus that looks like a bread van makes them think I'm nice on the surface but ruthless in nature, especially with a scarred bus. Exactly. Yi Bai persuaded. In reality, this is made from nickel-based superalloy. Unless you dismantle the front and remelt it, it can't be repaired. Any repairman would struggle to even drill into it or cut it with a laser. At that moment, Sun Jishui took a wrench and started hammering on the front of the kindergarten bus. Clang, clang. Normally, the wrench would have bent the front, but it could not even leave a mark on the bus. Yi Bai laughed. Master Sun, even if you shot at the kindergarten bus, you might not leave a trace. I guarantee the front of your heavy-duty truck can demolish that Crane King. Feeling embarrassed, Sun Jishui scratched his head, then suddenly brightened with excitement. So what are we waiting for? Let us charge to Guidu. Let us do this. With that, he pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Beep, beep, beep. The call connected. Hello, Yu Huowang. Sun Jishui shouted. Hey, wait, isn't this Sun Jishui? Didn't I compensate you? What do you want from me now? Yu Huowang replied angrily from the other end. I had already told you, didn't I? I am driving my heavy-duty truck to Guidu, and I dare you to confront me again. Sun Jishui declared. A burst of laughter erupted from the phone. Yu Huowang cleared his throat and cheerfully replied. I say, Sun Jishui, are you determined to go against me, Yu Huowang? Very well. Since you insist on embarrassing yourself, I shall grant you this opportunity. You can come, but we must establish a wager. What wager? Sun Jishui retorted, his face reddening. Yu Huowang took a deep breath and declared emphatically, it's simple. Whoever damages the other's vehicle in the collision shall be the winner. And the loser must pay the winner 300,000 for repairs. Come on, who is afraid? I want to back down. We'll have to put our fingerprints on it. Sign documents, and even invite a notary. Every step must be followed. Furthermore, there's one more condition. Whoever fails to pay. Sun Jishui's eyes turned bloodshot as he gritted his teeth and said, they'll lose a hand. What? You're playing this ruthlessly? Xiao Yunshan quietly approached Yi Bai and whispered, Nephew, this Sun Jishui has a very aggressive personality, and he is quite stubborn. Should we reconsider this deal? Yi Bai furrowed his brow. Having come this far, it would be unreasonable to turn back. Xiao Yunshan grew anxious, exclaiming, what if that Yu Huowang really loses a hand? We could be accomplices. How much is this deal worth? I'll pay you directly. Let us not go through with it, shall we? Uncle. Yi Bai retorted angrily, if you don't want to accompany me, then don't. I'll go alone. Xiao Yunshan was speechless. I'm just concerned for your safety. Fine, I'll accompany you. At least we can look out for each other. Yi Bai's expression grew more serious. Just then, Yu Huowang's astonished voice came through the phone. Lose a hand. Are you out of your mind? Just say if you dare. Sun Jishui pressed. Yu Huowang coldly snorted. Fine. If you refuse to take the path to heaven, you're inviting your own demise. I'll make it happen. I've already sent you my address. Whoever doesn't show up is a coward. All right. Sun Jishui angrily hung up the phone. Xiao Yunshan cautiously approached Sun Jishui and, with a hint of hesitation, inquired, Master Sun, though this might seem impolite, may I ask why you harbor such animosity towards Yu Huowang? Sun Jishui glared menacingly at Xiao Yunshan, then glanced at Yi Bai. Before softening his gaze and choking back tears, I'm not ashamed to admit that I am powerless. My father passed away and was buried on the hillside of our hometown. This Yu Huang comes from the same village. He not only buried his father above my father's grave, but recently tried to encroach on my father's territory, even constructing a concrete slab over my father's grave. All because my daughter just got accepted into a prestigious university. He wants to seize my father's grave's good fortune. I approached the village chief, but he was of no help. I went to the city, but it wasn't he under their jurisdiction. I sought out my clan, but they advised me to avoid trouble. And that was only because Yu Huang paid them off. What nonsense. Just a despicable scoundrel. And he dares to intentionally cause trouble with my heavy-duty truck. How can I endure this humiliation? I, Sun Jishui, am also human. I must stand my ground. As he spoke, Sun Jishui's face contorted with anguish. And he broke down in tears. Who says men do not cry? It is merely that the moment of sorrow has not yet arrived. Yi Bai approached slowly, softly sighing. Master Sun, we are deeply sympathetic to your plight. That Yu Huang is indeed a vile person. He truly deserves a good lesson. Xiao Yinshan embraced Sun Jishui, patting his shoulder reassuringly. Master Sun, rest assured, my nephew is no ordinary person. With him modifying and upgrading your heavy-duty truck, you will certainly have your revenge tonight in Guidu, wiping away the humiliation. In the live stream, viewers commented, wow, the main host is really kind. I thought this was scripted, but seeing their genuine distress, it's clear that normal people wouldn't act out such grievances. If it were scripted, I'd say they're impressive. Overall, I support Master Sun. That Yu Huang is truly despicable. He can't stand to see others do well. Even disturbing the graves of the deceased is revolting. At first, I wanted to persuade Master Sun, but after hearing his story, I understand that one should never advise others without knowing their struggles. I support the main host in taking down that scoundrel Yu Huang. Chapter 41. Encountering a mountain flood? Should my heavy-duty truck avoid its brilliance? On the road from Huadu to Guidu, two vehicles, one large and one small, traveled one behind the other. One was a heavy-duty truck and the other a kindergarten school bus. Yi Bai and Sun Jishui sat in the truck, remaining silent for 2 to 3 hours since they boarded. Nevertheless, the number of viewers in the live stream remained around 1,000. Outside the window, rain poured down. Yet Yi Bai felt an inner tranquility, akin to the calm before a storm. At that moment, Sun Jishui could no longer contain his restlessness and tentatively spoke. Boss Yi, I must apologize for earlier. It's nothing. That Yu Huang is incompetent, and I too wish for him to learn a lesson. Yi Bai replied. Sun Jishui's smile gradually brightened as he gazed out at the rain, musing, Huadu is indeed much better than Guidu, at least here. During rain, the visibility is poor, but the roads are passable. In Guidu, aside from the national highways, other areas are extremely perilous. What kind of terrain does Guidu have? Yi Bai inquired with curiosity. I don't know, just a lot of mountains, I suppose. The countryside has plenty of soft soil. And when it rains, the streets in Guidu become flooded, making it treacherous. It's hard to describe. Sun Jishui trailed off. Guidu is not Huadu. After all, it's unfortunate. Huadu was once a place of exile in Lingnan, but due to its port, it developed as a trading hub during the Qing dynasty. Nonetheless, the landscape of Guilin is unparalleled, and Guidu is indeed a place of remarkable people and talents. Yi Bai exclaimed. Sun Jishui laughed heartily. You truly are a cultured person. By the way, Bossy, how old are you? You seem to be around the same age as my daughter. 28. Yes, 28. Yi Bai blinked. 28. That is not too bad. But my daughter might not fancy someone 10 years older. Alas, you might not be interested either, but she is quite attractive. I could show you a photo. As Sun Jishui spoke, he pulled out his Vivo smartphone and began flipping through pictures. Yi Bai initially had no desire to look, but felt it would be impolite to refuse, considering the good intentions behind it. Here, take a look. Not bad, right? Sun Jishui said. Yi Bai leaned in to glance and was immediately taken aback. This was just her in a school uniform, yet it was already quite flattering. With her ponytail, exquisite features, and glasses, she was the quintessential milk tea sister. Oh dear. My daughter, Sun Ling, is quite impressive too. She got accepted into Qingbei. Sun Jishui added. Qingbei. Yi Bai was stunned. Yes, you don't believe me? I have the acceptance letter right here. Look at this photo. Sun Jishui flipped to another picture. In it, a sweet girl, dressed in a sailor outfit and a short skirt, was holding an impressive three-dimensional acceptance letter to Qingbei, proudly displaying the iconic Gongzi Hall. The key detail was her revealing sailor outfit, showcasing a generous figure, and though her legs weren't particularly long, they were perfectly fair and rounded. Plus, her naturally beautiful face, without any makeup, boasted a sweet smile. Oh my, what was I thinking, claiming to be 28 years old? Ahem. Yi Bai cleared his throat, his face slightly flushed, and said, "Actually, my true age is," before he could finish. A piercing honk from outside the car abruptly drowned out his voice. Yi Bai frowned, just about to speak again when another deafening honk interrupted him. What the hell? Yi Bai clenched his fists and rolled down the window, ready to vent his frustration, only to hear a driver shout, "Run! There's a flood ahead. Turn around. Turn around. Don't go forward. You can't handle what's ahead." And it's not just one, but a whole group. At that moment, Xiao Yinshan, driving a kindergarten school bus, slowed down to parallel Yi Bai's window and exclaimed, "Nephew, there's a flood ahead. What are we going to do? My bus can't go through. My exhaust pipe is below." Yi Bai turned to Sun Jishui and asked, "Master Sun, there's a flood ahead. Should we proceed?" Sun Jishui frowned, paused for a moment, and gritted his teeth. "Tell your uncle to bring the vehicle up. My heavy-duty truck can handle the water since the exhaust pipe is at the top. I have a bet with you, Huang. If I don't go or take a detour, he'll mock me. Then let us get uncle on the truck. It's just a flood. We can push through." What is a flood to a heavy-duty truck? Do we really need to avoid it? Yi Bai decisively stated. Soon, Sun Jishui maneuvered the heavy-duty truck onto the emergency lane, opened the rear door, allowing Xiao Yinshan's school bus to board. Thanks to the modifications Yi Bai made, the truck had various slots for securing cargo, making it possible to safely stow even a school bus inside. Xiao Yinshan then joined Yi Bai in the truck's driver's seat. Although it was a bit cramped, the three of them fit comfortably, with a bit of extra space. After about half an hour of driving, the road began to accumulate water, nearing the Guidu line. Another 40 minutes later, they reached a tertiary city in Guidu, where, unsurprisingly, traffic was congested and flooding had occurred. Observing the murky waters outside the window, Xiao Yinshan felt a chill. How could the water have risen to a full meter? Yi Bai explained, "This area is in a valley, and the massive influx of water has overwhelmed the city's drainage system, creating a bowl effect. Moreover, there's additional water upstream. A meter is actually quite fortunate. If it were over 2 meters, we might not be able to escape at all." Xiao Yinshan, curious, asked, "How do you know this?" "Ask Baidu." Yi Bai replied with a grin. "If there's a question, why not consult Baidu instead of trying to figure it out on your own?" Xiao Yinshan couldn't help but feel speechless, but also admiring. It's true that youthful minds think quickly. Just then, he noticed a few middle school students in blue and white uniforms standing atop a bus stop sign, nearly blown into the flood by a gust of wind. "Little nephew, Master Sun, should we help those kids?" Xiao Yinshan urged. "Oh dear." Sun Jishui's expression turned grave. "It's not that I don't want to help, but I'm driving a truck. I can only carry cargo, not people. If I could, I would have let you on the school bus. But we can't just watch those kids in danger," Xiao Yinshan said, anxiously gazing out the window at the children. At that moment, Yi Bai suggested, "How about I drive? This way, Master Sun, you won't risk your driving license or face fines." Xiao Yinshan immediately panicked. "Nephew, don't you only have a C1 license? This heavy-duty truck requires an A2 license. Do you know how difficult it is to obtain an A2? You first need to have a B1 or B2 license for 2 years and be between 22 and 60 years old, none of which apply to you. But uncle, if you get fined, you won't be able to drive the school bus to pick up my cousin." Yi Bai countered. Xiao Yinshan furrowed his brow, momentarily unsure of what to do, yet he insisted, "In any case, you can't take that risk." Yi Bai glared, angrily retorting, "Xiao Yinshan, who do you think you are? You're not my father. Even if my father or the king of heaven were here, they wouldn't have the right to dictate my actions." "Hey!" Xiao Yinshan was astonished and furious. After all, he was the uncle. "Master Sun, let us switch places." Yi Bai commanded. Sun Jishui, with a serious expression, asked, "Boss Yi, do you know how to drive this? Whether I can drive or not, trying it out will reveal the truth. Besides, you won't be held responsible for anything," Yi Bai said, reaching for the steering wheel. Seeing this, Xiao Yinshan rolled his eyes, displaying a look of schadenfreude. "Fine ticket." Sun Jishui, somewhat impatient, moved aside. Yi Bai took control of the vehicle, and with the driving skill bestowed by the system, handling the heavy-duty truck felt incredibly intuitive. He held the steering wheel with one hand while rolling down the window with the other, calling out, "Uncle, climb out and save those people." "Now you know I'm your uncle?" Xiao Yinshan grumbled. "Go quickly. Once you've rescued them, I'll apologize," Yi Bai urged. Xiao Yinshan hesitated for a moment after glancing at Yi Bai, but without further delay, he leaped into the flood. The water surged around him as he fought against the current, slowly making his way to the back of the vehicle. Yi Bai cautiously steered the heavy-duty truck closer to the bus stop sign, which was tilting dangerously in the floodwaters. "Kids, come on, hurry up. It's dangerous up there." Xiao Yinshan waved his arms. The students, all boys, looked either pale or slightly darkened, their thin frames accentuated by their large eyes, resembling monkeys. Upon hearing Xiao Yunshan's call, one of them asked, "Should we go over?" The shortest boy cried, "I'm scared. I can't swim. Don't worry. I'll carry you over. We can't waste time. Otherwise, we'll all be in danger." Another sturdier boy insisted. "Let us work together to get him to safety first," the boy in front suggested. Together, they managed to help the shortest boy reach Xiao Yinshan. Xiao Yinshan stretched out his arms. "Grab my leg. Anywhere is fine. Just don't let go, or you'll be swept away. Come on, grab on." "Yes, got it." With a strong pull, Xiao Yinshan brought the boy inside the truck. The boy lay on the floor, drenched, water splattering everywhere. The wind chilled him to the bone. And unfortunately, there were no warm items in the truck. Xiao Yinshan continued to pull one child after another into the vehicle until all the youngsters were safe. "Don't be scared. This is a heavy-duty truck. The flood can't wash it away. You're safe." Xiao Yinshan reassured them with a confident smile. His smile, amidst the torrential rain and flood, radiated a unique charm. The short boy looked up eagerly. "Uncle, my parents are working in the factory just ahead. Can you save them too?" Your parents?" Xiao Yinshan's heart sank. With such severe flooding, the factory would likely be in peril as well. If something were to happen, this child could lose both parents at such a young age. "Little nephew, should we head to that factory?" Xiao Yinshan reached the rear door of the vehicle and shouted with all his might. Sun Jishui frowned and cautioned, "It's best not to go there. The road is uneven. When I came earlier, they were still repairing it. If we bump into some equipment, the vehicle could break down, and we would all be stranded." "Fear not," Yi Bai declared resolutely. "I forgot to mention, Master Sun, I've equipped this behemoth of a truck with laser radar, thermal imaging, and 360-degree surround cameras. Originally intended to eliminate blind spots, it seems it can transform into a lifeline amidst this flood." Sun Jishui rubbed his scalp, realizing the truth in Yi Bai's words. Yi Bai suddenly slapped his thigh and proclaimed, "Since we are already rescuing, why not save even more people?" "Uncle," Yi Bai called out. "What is it, my dear nephew?" "I'm here," Xiao Yinshan bellowed. "At 3 o'clock, 15 meters ahead, there are 3 people in the water," Yi Bai shouted. "Understood." Without a moment's hesitation, Xiao Yinshan tossed his phone, wallet, and keys through the car window into the driver's seat. Taking a deep breath, he plunged into the murky water as soon as Yi Bai brought the truck to the location. Despite being middle-aged, Xiao Yinshan's unwavering physical resilience was unmatched by today's youth. Collaborating with Yi Bai, they rescued over 30 individuals in less than half an hour. In the livestream, viewers commented, "Wasn't the main character supposed to accompany the truck driver, Master Sun, in confronting the Crane King? How did he end up rescuing people? I don't know. But this protagonist truly steps up when needed. Even without a license, even knowing it's illegal, he drives without hesitation to save lives. Moreover, if it were an ordinary truck, it wouldn't be this efficient. This one has been modified. We once mocked this vehicle as Noah's Ark. But now we realize it truly is the people's Noah's Arkansas. I admit, I was the fool." In the livestream, due to Yi Bai's benevolence, the audience's enthusiasm steadily grew. While not overtly apparent, each viewer took to the chat to express support, wishing for safe returns. Many showered Yi Bai with various gifts. Though they could not be present in person, the livestream served as their means to spread love and concern. Meanwhile, within the Giddu Fire Department, a rescue operation for the flood was underway. Chapter 43. The soldiers prepared for sacrifice, while the behemoth truck saved lives. In the square, firefighters donned military vests stood in orderly lines. Aside from them, numerous formations of soldiers stood at attention across the expansive square. After disembarking from transport vehicles, they quickly formed ranks, moving with precision. On a makeshift platform in the square stood Xiao Su, the then director of the Giddu Fire Department. Despite his prominent belly, he wore a grave expression as he approached a middle-aged man and saluted. "Report, Commander. 500 firefighters from Giddu are fully assembled." The middle-aged man, clad in camouflage, was tall and bore a serene expression. He glanced at Xiao Su, nodded, and then turned to address the assembled 11,000 disaster relief soldiers. Taking a deep breath before declaring, "Comrades, the time has come for us to be tested by the party and the people. The calamity is our command. The citizens in the disaster zone are counting on us. Now, I order the party's assault team to the front lines. Carry sandbags, block breaches, where there are people. We will stand firm. Engineering Battalion 1, establish temporary bridges within 24 hours. Ensure the rescue routes remain open. Engineering Battalion 2, drain floodwaters within 32 hours. Clear all obstacles to the accumulated water. If necessary, explosives may be employed. Medical teams remain on standby. Not a single person can be left behind. The injured must receive immediate care. Firefighter Team 1, Police Team 1, and all disaster relief units of the 32nd Group Army execute the plans as scheduled. Move out immediately. Upon finishing, the leaders of various squads promptly issued commands, leading their teams in an orderly fashion towards their designated locations. Meanwhile, Xiao Su hurried to the commander's side. Smiling nervously, "Commander, it's pouring outside, and I see no command center set up. Why not use our fire department as a temporary command post?" The commander turned to Xiao Su, his voice cold. "As the commander of this disaster relief operation, if I do not lead by example, how can I expect my soldiers to charge forward?" Xiao Su was taken aback, his face drawn. "But this disaster is severe. Not only is the rain relentless, but we just had a dam break. You know our Gitu is impoverished. Our urban water infrastructure is outdated. Before the amphibious vehicles arrive, we only have kayaks. And kayaks are prone to capsizing or puncturing. Even if they don't, colliding with a structure could leave us stranded. You are a major general of the Southern Military District. How can you take such risks?" The commander, Long Hans Han, rolled up his sleeves, glaring at Xiao Su with indignation. "So it's acceptable for my soldiers to drown in the flood?" Xiao Su was alarmed, stammering, "I didn't mean that. I was just considering your safety." Long Hans Han took a yellow life jacket from a soldier and handed it to Xiao Su, insisting, "Put this on." Xiao Su stared at the life jacket in disbelief. "Put it on." Long Hans Han pressed the life jacket into Xiao Su's hands. Xiao Su, flustered, protested, "Commander, I'm not a proficient swimmer." However, Long Hans Han donned the life jacket discarded by a soldier and strode towards the floodwaters without a backward glance. Xiao Su glanced at the life jacket in his hands, panic rising, and slapped himself, muttering, "Why did I have to speak up? Now look where we are." With a resigned expression, Xiao Su hurriedly followed Long Hans Han, determined to find a way to share the same kayak. Soon, Xiao Su accompanied Long Hanshan's team as they advanced towards the flood. With Long Hanshan's precise commands and the soldiers' training, they effortlessly rescued no fewer than 10 civilians. Yet, as they pressed forward, they encountered silence for hundreds, even thousands of meters. At that moment, a soldier reported, "Commander, I spotted a pair of shoes on the bus stop sign, still wet, possibly from someone who fell in. I request to dive and retrieve them, in case there are bodies." Long Hans Han furrowed his brow. "Do not go down. Our priority is to save lives." The soldier hung his head, looking dejected. Yet, Long Hans Han struggled to find the right words. It was disheartening to think that everyone had come prepared to risk their lives, only to have saved so few, with many still unaccounted for. On the kayak, Xiao Su, paddling beside them, wiped the sweat from his brow and leaned against the edge of the kayak, his gaze drifting to a nearby factory. His eyes widened in realization. "Commander, should we send that soldier to search the nearby area? There might still be people hiding in those single-story buildings." Long Hans Han sighed, about to respond when the same soldier suddenly shouted, "Look, there's a factory. I see someone moving. I saw them." Long Hanshan's eyes lit up, and he called out, "Quick, head towards the factory." Xiao Shiren was utterly bewildered. How could he see so far, while he couldn't even catch a glimpse of anything? Yet, with just a casual glance, he had spotted it. With great effort, Xiao Shiren paddled the kayak, despite his movements being awkward and exceedingly slow, his pallor evident. Nevertheless, he had not yet surrendered. Soon, the kayak reached the factory, where there was someone, albeit just one. On the second floor of the factory, a middle-aged man, clutching a briefcase, was sitting on the ground, weeping uncontrollably. Long Hans Han tossed a thick rope with precision, urging, "Brother, grab the rope. We are here to rescue you." The man looked up at the group clad in camouflage military uniforms and cried, even harder, "What good is your help? If you really want to assist, then save my factory. I would have taken Noah's Ark if I could, rather than this broken kayak." Long Hans Han was momentarily taken aback, then softened his tone, "Brother, wealth may be lost and regained, but if you do not preserve the mountains, you will have no firewood to burn. Without firewood, there is nothing to burn. After toiling for half my life, I finally have this precious factory, and now, with the flood, all my stock is gone, delivery deadlines breached, and I am bankrupt. What good is your advice?" The man flung his briefcase at Long Hans Han, striking him squarely in the face. Xiao Shiren stood nearby, eyes wide as if they might fall out, covering his mouth, too shocked to utter a sound. The surrounding soldiers held their breath, their anxiety palpable. Long Hans Han touched his stinging face, then bent down to retrieve the briefcase, chuckling lightly, "Brother, if you don't come, I may just have to bring you up myself." The man swallowed hard, glanced at the kayak beneath Long Hans Han, and recoiled, disdainfully declaring, "If you want to rescue me, let that Noah's Ark do it." I won't board your kayak. Long Hans Han was almost amused with anger, hands on his hips, incredulously asking, what Noah's Ark? This is Huaxia. It is not God or Adam who will save you, but the soldiers. The man retorted angrily, but I just saw a Noah's Ark rescue everyone from my factory. It was right there and hasn't gone far. Upon hearing this, Long Hans Han was momentarily stunned. Could there truly be a Noah's Ark? Chapter 44. Mightier than an amphibious landing vehicle, this is the 100-ton king? Long Hans Han pondered before decisively dismissing the absurd notion. He exchanged glances with two nearby soldiers. Before long, their kayak inched closer to the factory site, and by the time the man realized they were approaching, it was too late. Bang. What the? If you are rescuing me, why are you hitting me? The man was surrounded by several soldiers, tightly bound. During the scuffle, someone had kicked him, or perhaps inadvertently slapped his face. In any case, he was swollen by the time he was taken away. Long Hans Han scolded, what are you doing? I instructed you to rescue him, not to hit him. After this disaster relief mission, each of you will march 30th kilometers and receive a report to the entire army. Initially, the soldiers had been rather restrained, but upon hearing the mention of a report to the entire army, their faces broke into grins, cheerfully replying, yes, sir. Long Han Han's eyes widened in disbelief, and he raised his hand as if to strike, grumbling, you find this amusing? Another 30 kilometers. What? The soldiers looked as if the sky had fallen. Just then, the radio on Long Han Han's shoulder crackled to life. Report, sir. A large military amphibious landing ship without markings has been spotted ahead. It is laden with civilians, along with a light troop transport vehicle disguised as a bread truck. A large military amphibious landing ship? A light troop transport vehicle? Long Hans Han furrowed his brow. Had contact been established? Were they friendly forces? Attempts to use military channels, whether from the Japanese, American, Indian, Filipino, or Russian forces, proved futile. The radio reported back, hey, this is quite strange. Long Hans Han was deep in thought, feeling something was amiss. After all, he had gained an understanding of various countries' military channels over the years, but had never disclosed this to them. How could he not make contact? Report, sir. We established contact. Came the voice from the radio. Oh, what channel? Long Hans Han asked, intrigued. The radio replied, it's a manual channel. Long Hans Han was on the verge of scolding. A manual channel? At that moment, another voice came through the radio. Sir, he didn't attend university. He's from the countryside and lacks education. To clarify, it isn't a manual channel or a military channel. We spotted the vessel and approached the bow to make contact with civilians on board, not military personnel. The bow is oddly shaped like a truck, but the entire ship is distinctly boat-like. Good heavens, so that was the manual channel. Yet, Long Hans Han was left even more perplexed. What kind of vehicle was this? Suddenly, Xiao Shiren interjected, Sir, is it possible that this peculiar vessel is the Noah's Ark the owner just mentioned? Long Han Han's expression brightened, and he immediately began paddling. Let us go take a look. Thus, Long Hans Han and his companions navigated the kayak forward. After a few hundred meters, they indeed spotted a large ship on the water, surrounded by numerous kayaks. They hurriedly paddled over, finally reaching the bow. I can't go on, I'm exhausted. I can't paddle anymore. If I do, I'm done for. Xiao Shiren gasped. Long Hans Han tossed the paddle onto the boat, replying nonchalantly, then wait here. He then turned his gaze toward the bow, where a young man was at the helm of the enormous vessel, looking quite handsome. Long Hans Han called out, Hey, comrade, which unit are you from? I am from the 32nd Group Army of the Southern Military District. I am from the area under the jurisdiction of the 32nd Group Army of the Southern Military District. The young man, Yi Bai, responded. You too? Wait, what do you mean under jurisdiction? Long Hans Han was left speechless. Would it not be simpler to just say he was a civilian? At that moment, Yi Bai added, Sir, I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I merely passed by and happened to rescue some people. Now that I have brought them to you, can you let us go? Not at all. Long Hans Han chuckled incredulously. We are not after people. We want to understand how you are operating an amphibious landing ship. Where did it come from? What amphibious landing ship? Sir, please do not slander me. This is clearly a 100-ton King heavy truck. I merely modified it a bit. Yi Bai insisted anxiously. Long Hans Han and the soldiers were dumbfounded. This thing was even larger and more formidable than their amphibious landing vehicle, and he called it a 100-ton King heavy truck? If you don't believe me, just wait until we reach shallow water, and you can see if it has tires. Yi Bai continued. His tone did not seem to suggest deceit. Yet, as Long Hans Han gazed at this so-called Noah's Ark, the more he felt it was indeed suitable as an amphibious landing vessel. With its conical front, it was impervious and unstoppable. The entire ship was constructed of composite armor, impervious to bullets, and the frame had grooves, serving as natural gun positions. It could advance through water effortlessly, and the vessel was adept at transporting troops and heavy weaponry with ease. With this in mind, Long Hans Han couldn't help but chuckle. Brother, confess honestly. Which unit are you from? Special Forces? Or the Armed Police? Are you executing an undercover mission but had to rescue people due to the flood, thus deploying advanced military vehicles? At the helm, Yi Bai was taken aback, questioning if Long Hans Han had watched too many military dramas and was letting his imagination run wild. Why would he be an undercover agent? As the radar screen displayed a slope ahead, Yi Bai did not hesitate and decisively turned left. Hey, not so fast. My friend. Upon witnessing the sudden approach of the colossal behemoth, Long Hans Han was nearly paralyzed with fear, hastily rowing to create distance. Soon enough, the amphibious landing craft burst through the water, revealing its massive, robust, and commanding tires, 6 on one side. Goodness, is this truly a 100-ton king truck? Long Hans Han was astounded. Once he regained his composure, he rowed swiftly towards Yi Bai, inquiring curiously, "How did you know there was a slope down there?" Yi Bai replied nonchalantly, "Of course. It's equipped with a laser radar." Laser radar. Long Hans Han was bewildered. Yi Bai elaborated. Indeed, this laser radar is just one component. The murky waters do pose a challenge. But when integrated with other devices to form a holographic perception array, it can effectively scan the terrain and mark the positions of living entities. After all, with a 100-ton king, there are blind spots. When driving on the national highway, one might occasionally run over vehicles or pedestrians, thus necessitating this upgrade to perceive the terrain. Perceiving the terrain? Scanning living entities? And it can be mounted on a heavy truck? Long Hans Han was utterly astonished. This is intended for civilian use? It's more advanced than military applications. Chapter 45. Principles against transporting individuals, yet transporting a whole load of principles. If you doubt it, come see for yourself, Yi Bai said from the driver's seat. Long Hans Han glanced down at the distance between the kayak and the front of the 100-ton king truck, which was only about a meter. With a few vigorous strokes, he paddled over, grasped the door handle, and leaned in to observe. On the screen, there were real-time images of the underwater 100-ton king truck from various angles, live footage from cameras, alongside laser scans, radar detections, and sonar readings, as well as an image he had never seen before. But this is just a 100-ton king truck. So what do you think? Am I not correct? Yi Bai asked calmly. Long Hans Han blinked, suddenly asking, "Young friend, where are you from?" Yi Bai was taken aback and quickly waved his hands. "Don't try to find out where I'm from. I will not join the military." "Are you against the soldiers?" Long Hans Han asked, astonished. "I am not against the soldiers. My aspirations lie beyond the military. I have my own path to serve my country," Yi Bai declared boldly. "Is that so?" Long Henshin's tone revealed a hint of disappointment. At that moment, Sun Jishui glanced at the time on his phone and urged, "Boss Yi, there's no network right now, and I can't reach Yu Huang. Can we find a way to get these people out first?" "That is feasible," Yi Bai nodded, as the primary goal was to reach Guidu and meet that crane driver. Rescuing people was merely a secondary objective. He turned to Long Hans Han and asked, "Chief, would you like to join us? We might save some more people along the way." "Absolutely. Yes," Long Hans Han exclaimed excitedly. Subsequently, Long Hans Han and his companions followed Yi Bai's 100-ton king truck as they traversed the route, rescuing countless citizens who had not yet evacuated. As they exited the heavily affected area and entered shallow waters, it remained unsafe. Yi Bai continued to steer the 100-ton king truck forward until they encountered a traffic officer, who finally halted them. Beep, beep, beep. The officer's whistle pierced the air, nearly deafening Yi Bai. "Hey, can you stop blowing that?" "I've already stopped," Yi Bai protested. The officer approached briskly, first saluting Yi Bai, then producing his credentials, stating, "Officer Wang Ming, badge number 492141. Please present your identification." "I do not have any," Yi Bai replied loudly. "Do you remember your ID number?" the officer asked as he pulled out a police app on his phone. "I don't possess a truck driver's license," Yi Bai added. The officer was momentarily taken aback, staring at Yi Bai in disbelief for several seconds before reacting. Hastily communicating over the radio, "We have a driver of a 100-ton king truck operating without a license. Requesting backup." "Requesting backup. No need for backup. I want to run," Yi Bai replied. The officer looked at Yi Bai, puzzled. "Comrade, you're driving without a license." "I am aware. I have a whole load of people with me," Yi Bai emphasized. The officer stepped back, glanced up, and nearly recoiled in shock. There truly was a truck full of people. Looking back at Yi Bai, he was astonished by his calm demeanor. The officer inhaled sharply, then seriously stated, "Comrade, you know you are driving without a license. Yet you proceed, and you've overloaded with many people. According to Article 99 of the Road Traffic Safety Law, you face a fine of 200,000 to 2,000,000 yuan and up to 15 days of detention, along with the impounding of the vehicle. Moreover, per Article 92, carrying extra passengers incurs additional penalties with fines ranging from 500 to 2,000 yuan. I still cannot ascertain whether you pose a real danger to public safety. If so, you might constitute a crime under Article 133 of the criminal law for dangerous driving, which could lead to 16 months of detention and fines. I advise you to be honest. Yi Bai was taken aback. Was it really that serious? At that moment, Xiao Yunshan suddenly burst forth, panic etched across his face. Officer, you've made a mistake. I was the one driving. He is only 18. He doesn't have a license. With that, Xiao Yunshan quickly pushed Yi Bai aside, took the driver's seat, and cheerfully said, Officer, please, it was me. I beg you. It was me driving, please. The officer pointed to the body camera on his shoulder, exasperated. I wish I could, but the law does not allow it. Yet surely, the law can accommodate certain circumstances, such as our mission to rescue people from the disaster zone. Yi Bai interjected, rescue people? The officer nearly laughed in frustration, incredulous at such an excuse to evade responsibility. At that moment, some of the citizens in the vehicle spoke up. Officer, he truly came to save us. The flood in Shuqing was catastrophic. If it weren't for him, we would have perished. Yes, he is the big brother who saved me, shouted the shortest middle school student. As the students spoke, the others were moved and began to chime in. Officer, please show leniency. If it weren't for him, we would have been lost to the waters. Officer, you wouldn't want to face the consequences from us later, would you? Indeed, let him go. That young man is a good person. The officer felt overwhelmed. I am merely enforcing the law. I don't aim to punish good people. Of course, in these special circumstances, I will report to my superiors, but for now, I must follow the procedure. In the vehicle, Sun Jishui lamented, had I known this would happen, I should have driven. At this rate, I won't even get to meet Yu Huang. Xiao Yunshan shot Sun Jishui a fierce glare. Yi Bai drummed his fingers on the steering wheel. Sensing the predicament was becoming increasingly complex, he had anticipated that the officer would be lenient due to their rescue efforts. Yet the enforcement was indeed stringent. Just as Yi Bai was grappling with his frustration, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Hey, what are you traffic officers doing? Step aside. Hurry up and let us through. Long Henzhan and his comrades approached with confident strides. Upon seeing the robust soldiers, the officer swallowed hard and explained, this 100-ton king is being driven without a license, overloaded with passengers, and seems to be illegally modified. Long Henzhan launched into a tirade. What do you mean, driving without a license? Those are personnel from my Southern Military District's 32nd Group Army on a special mission. The modifications were authorized by the relevant departments. Besides, with the flood ahead, while it is generally against the rules for heavy trucks like the 100-ton king to carry passengers, he is upholding the principle of saving lives. Who is your superior? Where are they? Bring them to me immediately. The officer felt as though the sky was falling. He was merely enforcing the law. How had he encountered such a formidable character? And an influential one at that. Our chief will arrive shortly. The officer stammered, feeling utterly helpless. At that moment, several police motorcycles approached, led by a Mediterranean middle-aged man. Upon seeing Long Henzhan, the man trembled in fright, nearly colliding with him, but fortunately managed to brake in time. Are you trying to run me over? Long Henzhan exclaimed in anger. The man hurriedly dismounted and jogged to Long Henzhan, forcing a smile as he said, if Major General Long wishes to blame me, a mere director, I would accept it. Indeed, it is my fault. It's just that, upon seeing you, I was overwhelmed by your imposing aura of authority. Goodness, such flattery. Wait, a major general? This fellow is a major general? Chapter 46, All Rise. Grant passage to the People's Ark. Yi Bai was taken aback. A major general. He wished to attain such a rank himself. Yet, considering the current circumstances, it seemed a daunting task. Just then, Long Henzhan bellowed, what authority? I won't fall for such nonsense. All I know is that my soldiers have been halted by your personnel and are facing punishment. Is that reasonable? The director's expression changed immediately as he glared at the traffic officer, scolding, you may enforce the law, but do not be rigid. You must learn to be flexible. What does flexibility mean? Must I send you back to school for further instruction? Can't you see he is a military officer? The traffic officer, the director turned back to Long Henzhan, smiling apologetically. General Long, please do not be angry. My subordinate is new and is not yet familiar with the regulations and special circumstances between departments. I will ensure he receives further training in this regard. Well, that sounds reasonable. Long Hans Han nodded, then added, by the way, how did you recognize me? The director glanced around cautiously and whispered, didn't one of your soldiers purchase a bottle of Reibai while passing through our training ground in Guidu? That strong military vehicle is driven by my father. What? That Reibai was supplied by your family? Long Hans Han nearly lost his temper. Back when he was a brigade commander, he had engaged in a tactical exercise against the Blue Army's 1st Brigade, led by Lan Guangji. Near Guidu, he was on the verge of capturing Lan Guangji. But the explosion of that Reibai bottle had revealed his position, causing him to miss the optimal opportunity and allowing the shameless Lan Guangji to deploy a tactical nuclear weapon, ultimately leading to his defeat. Afterwards, he traced the source of the Reibai back to that vendor, even visiting their home, though in the end, he could do nothing but pay them 1,000 yuan, driven by an obsession to meet the instigator. Long Hans Han surmised that the director must have encountered him during that visit and thus remembered him. General Long, let bygones be bygones. My father did not act with ill intent, the director said cautiously. Long Hans Han exhaled, responding, if this is all a misunderstanding, then let us expedite our passage. Moreover, the flood in Sioux City has yet to be resolved, and the people are still counting on us. We must all remain vigilant and united in overcoming this crisis. The director raised his fist in solidarity, proclaiming, all rise. Grant passage to the People's Ark. Immediately, the mounted police resumed their route, clearing the way ahead of the heavy vehicle. In the driver's seat, Yibai observed the police escort and exclaimed, what an experience. I'm receiving treatment akin to that of a state guest. It was at this moment that the previously lost signal returned and the live stream resumed. As viewers re-entered, they were astonished by the scene unfolding before them. Wait, I haven't been watching long. Are those police providing an escort? Wow, the traffic officers are saluting. And even the drivers are paying their respects. Look at that child. He on his father's shoulders, waving a red flag. So touching. But what exactly happened here? Feeling buoyed, Yibai noticed the barrage of comments and couldn't help but chuckle. Dear viewers, you may not know this, but just now, your host encountered a flood. Since we were here, we drove this heavy vehicle to rescue a group of people. Viewers in the live stream replied, I remember now. It was a rescue. But wait, didn't the host lack a driver's license? The traffic officers did not trouble you? Not only did they not trouble him, they provided an escort. My goodness, the host must have an incredible background. The signal issues earlier were surely just an excuse to conceal his true identity. Wow, I knew it. How could someone so young possess such substantial resources and skills to handle so many impressive vehicles? Oh my, seeing this flood of speculation, Yibai exclaimed in amusement. Although some of their assumptions were rather far-fetched, they seemed to have inadvertently alleviated a potential concern for him. Moreover, Yibai's silence only served to heighten the viewer's belief in his extraordinary status, appearing outwardly unassuming, yet possessing hidden depths. Soon, the entire group was settled in Guidu, a city with a relatively efficient drainage system. Glancing at the clock, Yibai felt a wave of relief. He had not anticipated that after enduring so much. Only 2 or 3 hours had passed. He nearly thought he wouldn't get out today and missed the chance to meet Yu Huang. Leaning against the driver's seat, he accepted the gratitude of the disaster victims while also exchanging banter with his uncle, Xiao Yunshan, and truck driver, Master Sunday. Still wishing to meet? You were fortunate today. You encountered a major general backing you up. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to explain this to your mother. If anything happened to you, she would surely tear me to pieces. Xiao Yunshan crossed his arms, adopting a stern expression. Oh come on, uncle, you're my uncle, and I'm your little nephew. We're naturally close, Yibai replied with a playful tone. Humph, when you need me, I'm your uncle, when you don't. I'm just a stranger on the road, Xiao Yunshan retorted coolly. No way. Yibai furrowed his brow, his eyes darting around. Hey uncle, I remember my cousin loves Linabelle. How about I get her one? Hey no. That thing is huge. Very dangerous. I have my own way of educating my daughter. Don't interfere. Just take care of yourself. Xiao Yunshan reached out to refuse. Alright. Then I'll tell my mom you've turned cold and don't recognize your little nephew anymore. Woo. As Yibai spoke, he imitated the dialect from his hometown, pretending to cry dramatically. Your uncle's face turned extremely awkward. He sighed impatiently. Alright, you win. I forgive you, okay? Hee. Yibai beamed with a broad grin. Xiao Yunshan maintained a stern face. No forgiveness. Yibai immediately contorted his face, crying out, Woo. Alright, you're tough. Little nephew, having you is my blessing. It's my fortune, Xiao Yunshan. The uncle proclaimed loudly. Yibai chuckled. That bag is your blessing, uncle. Xiao Yunshan struggled to suppress a laugh. Feigning seriousness, you little rascal. In this family, you're the smartest. Just look at how you managed to get into Tsinghua or Peking University. While all the other relatives are either abroad or in Hong Kong and Macau, I'm the only one who made it to Tsinghua or Peking University. Yi Bai replied proudly, exactly. Xiao Yinshan blinked, but said nothing, ignoring him. Just admit it. Yi Bai nudged. Xiao Yinshan, exasperated, replied, yes. But your cousin will also get into Tsinghua or Peking University in the future. Are you sure? Yi Bai raised an eyebrow. Xiao Yinshan asserted. She has me as her father. Are you sure? Yi Bai teased, smiling. Xiao Yinshan's expression darkened. Ha ha ha. Yi Bai laughed heartily. At this moment, Sun Jishui returned to the vehicle after taking care of his business. Chapter 47. Encountering a mudslide, a massive boulder, no way to avoid. Sun Jishui glanced at Yi Bai and Xiao Yinshan and naturally took his place in the driver's seat, saying, let us go. We're now off to find you Huolong. Oh, Yi Bai shifted away from the driver's seat. After a long and exhausting journey, he truly needed a moment of respite. Sun Jishui returned to the driver's position and skillfully pressed the accelerator. The heavy-duty truck emitted a deep, rumbling sound. Just as he was about to set off, a police motorcycle rushed up from behind, its blaring siren piercing the air and unsettling the mood. Sun Jishui stepped on the brakes, furrowing his brow as he glanced at the rearview mirror, only to find none other than General Long Hans Han. General Long, is there something you need? Yi Bai, seated in the passenger seat, inquired with curiosity. Long Hans Han halted the police motorcycle and wiped the rain from his face, declaring, our amphibious landing vehicle will take another hour to arrive. But as you know, during a disaster, every minute counts, and lives may be at stake. We must act swiftly. Therefore, I would like to requisition your heavy-duty truck for rescue operations. Just for 1 hour. Only 1 hour. 1 hour? Yi Bai turned to Sun Jishui, tentatively suggesting. Why not lend a hand? After all, your agreement with Yu Huolong is for later tonight. It's only a 1 or 2 hour journey from Sioux City to Guidu. Sun Jishui, with a conflicted expression, hesitated. Long Hans Han gritted his teeth and added, we will also head to Guidu tonight. We can travel together. Yi Bai's eyes lit up, and he exclaimed, then, General Long, why not take us to the rendezvous point? That sounds good. After all, the military and civilians share a bond. Long Hans Han shrugged. Yi Bai then turned to Sun Jishui, asking, what do you say, Master Sun? Sun Jishui blinked. His face slightly flushed as he replied, if you say it's fine, then it's fine. Then it's settled. We shall return to the disaster zone for rescue operations. Yi Bai decisively stated. This endeavor turned out to be a considerable ordeal, taking a full 2 hours, double the anticipated hour. As the amphibious landing vehicle got stuck in the mud, fortunately, they successfully rescued over 90% of the flood victims. When the amphibious landing vehicle finally arrived in grand fashion, it encountered Yi Bai and the heavy-duty truck head-on. At that moment, a soldier emerged from the landing vehicle, shouting, hey, what's the situation inside? Can you inform us? We are here for rescue. Yi Bai scratched his head, feeling awkward, and replied, your commander is right behind. Why not ask him? Commander? The soldier was taken aback, glancing back to see none other than their army division's commander, Long Hans Han. The soldier immediately stood at attention. Saluting, the amphibious landing team is fully prepared. Please instruct us, Commander. Long Hans Han, slightly fatigued, parked his motorcycle in front of the convoy, waved his hand, and said, return. The soldier, momentarily stunned, quickly changed his expression and shouted even louder, the amphibious landing team stands ready. Please give your orders, Commander. Long Hans Han shook his head, impatiently waving his hand to indicate they should turn back. The soldier, now agitated, pleaded, Commander, the reason for our late arrival is the heavy rain, which caused mudslides on the road. We even abandoned our vehicles to reach here for the rescue. I know you are displeased with our inability to complete the task, but the people in the disaster area need us. We cannot abandon them. If there is to be punishment, please let us finish the rescue first. Long Hans Han was at a loss for words. He had no intention of punishing them. Everyone is safe because of the heavy-duty truck behind me. Just look at you all. You're as large as cargo trucks, right? The research from the Lonka Institute in military industry is quite advanced, but there are indeed remarkable talents among the civilians. The flood wreaks havoc, yet the heavy-duty truck has managed to rescue everyone. At that moment, not only the squad leader but the entire amphibious landing team wore expressions of confusion. They had traversed through storms and misfortune, only to find no one to save. And they faced a mudslide, failing to accomplish their mission. What was the point of their efforts? Just then, Yi Bai cleared his throat and suggested softly, well, there are still towns and villages around Sioux City. Why not go there for rescue? Long Hans Han cast a glance at Yi Bai and declared, I have other plans for the amphibious landing team, but for now, everyone must return to the outskirts of Gue due to standby. Yes. The squad leader immediately saluted and accepted the command. Consequently, all the amphibious landing vehicles turned around and drove in front of the heavy-duty truck. Yibai had not anticipated that after being escorted by police motorcycles, they would now be accompanied by military vehicles. It seemed he was destined to be in charge. It was also during this time that Yibai had the chance to observe these military vehicles up close, realizing they were true military machines. Unlike the modified versions he had created, the amphibious landing vehicles that arrived were formally known as the ZTD-05 amphibious assault vehicles. Their dimensions were difficult to gauge, but they appeared to be the size of a large bus, with 2 water jets at the rear. Their power source was uncertain, but they operated on land similarly to oil-powered vehicles, as evidenced by the engine's sound, which resembled that of the heavy-duty truck. However, what truly captivated Yibai was the 105mm rifled cannon mounted on the vehicle, with a range of 2 kilometers and the capability to fire guided missiles. It was an excellent asset for storming beaches or destroying enemy fortifications and armored targets. Furthermore, domestic main battle amphibious assault vehicles possessed the capability to operate in nuclear and biochemical contaminated environments, a feature the heavy-duty truck lacked. While I cannot truly manufacture military weapons as much as I desire to, doing so would lead to their confiscation, leaving me constrained. I have yet to fully experience the joys of creation. It would be best to modify vehicles, earn more money, and enjoy life. If I can contribute to the nation during this time, that would be splendid. Yibai mused happily, even envisioning himself surrounded by a treasure trove of gold. Imagining the scene of using money to daze his father, Yi Nantian. The convoy moved steadily forward, but as they traversed a national highway on a hillside, the rainfall suddenly intensified, and mud and stones began to fall like rain. Long Hans Han looked up to see a massive rock, so large it obscured the sky, gradually revealing its white surface under the rain's assault. As the debris, rainwater, and mud flow struck, the pace quickened, and the once embedded giant rock began to fall. Not good. A mudslide. We need to move quickly. Being struck by that boulder is certain death. Long Hans Han shouted. Yibai, who had been daydreaming, was instantly jolted awake. A mudslide? Just moments ago, the amphibious landing team had been delayed due to a mudslide. He felt safe within the heavy-duty truck. But Long Hans Han and his men were on police motorcycles, vulnerable. Yibai swiftly leaned out of the window and called out to Long Hans Han, General Long. Get in the truck. Get into the heavy-duty truck. Long Hans Han assessed the mudslide's trajectory, which extended several dozen meters ahead, realizing the police motorcycle would not make it. He decisively commanded, everyone abandon your vehicles. Get into the heavy-duty truck. In an instant, many soldiers who had been following the police motorcycles discarded them and ran towards the parked heavy-duty truck. Hurry, hurry, Yibai urged. Xiao Yunshan kept a watchful eye on the mudslide, particularly that massive boulder which was already teetering under the impact of the rain. At that moment, it tilted at an angle of 28 to 29 degrees, just waiting for a small push to send it crashing down. A gentle breeze blew by, carrying with it a wet oval leaf that struck the enormous boulder with a resounding thud, finally causing it to teeter and begin its descent. Upon witnessing the scene, Xiao Yunshan's pupils constricted sharply as he trembled, frantically pounding on Yibai's arm, exclaiming, Rolling stone. Rolling stone. What the hell? Yibai, utterly bewildered, looked at Xiao Yunshan, who quickly pointed upwards. As Yibai raised his gaze, he gasped in astonishment. Without hesitation, he bent at the waist, extending his arm to grasp Long Hanshan's thigh and neck, and hurled him towards the passenger seat. What are you doing? I'm still commanding, protested Long Hanshan, who was thrown into the vehicle, momentarily dazed. He quickly rose, insisting, I can't abandon my soldiers. However, as he lifted his head, he collided head-on with Yibai, who had rushed in. Coincidentally, Yibai's right fist connected with Long Hanshan's forehead with a resounding thud, causing him to lean back, his head striking the gear lever, rendering him unconscious instantly. In a life-or-death moment, Yibai's actions were almost instinctual. After shutting the door of the vehicle, the next second, Sun Jishui slammed down on the accelerator. The 100-ton truck roared in defiance, embodying a collective refusal to succumb to death. Yet, when Yibai looked up again, he was horrified to find that the rolling stone had not retreated into the distance. Instead, it was coming closer at an alarming angle. Good grief. That stone isn't plummeting straight down. It's coming at us diagonally. Yibai realized, his body going numb with fear. Xiao Yunshan, panic-stricken, shouted, Slow down. Slow down. Sun Jishui hastily pressed the brake. Despite the road being a treacherous mix of mud and debris, The modified 100-ton truck handled the situation with remarkable ease, its tall tires and elevated chassis providing an advantage. In contrast, the amphibious assault vehicle with standard tires was mired in the mudslide, becoming a helpless target. Suddenly, a deafening crash erupted above. The onlookers looked up in alarm, witnessing a massive stone collide with another enormous rock, causing the latter to crumble while the former was propelled into the air, soaring 5 or 6 meters high. Both colossal boulders then plummeted directly towards the front of the 100-ton truck. At that moment, every breath was suspended in the air. A single gargantuan stone could crush the front of the 100-ton truck. Even a tank would be reduced to rubble under such force, let alone the less armored 100-ton truck, especially since the impact was aimed directly at the front. In this critical moment, Yi Bai felt a flicker of relief. It's over, completely over. Sun Jishui's face had turned pale with fear, his expression twisted in horror. The entire sequence of the stones descending upon the 100-ton truck transpired in mere seconds. Boom. Thud. Boom. Thud, thud, thud. The two massive stones fell in succession. Everyone instinctively hunched down, knowing that flesh and blood could not withstand such an onslaught, that they could be reduced to mere pulp. Yet, as some began to cautiously open their eyes, they could not suppress their cries of astonishment. What the hell? What the hell? Upon hearing the exclamations of the soldiers around him, Sun Jishui, who had thought he was doomed, trembled as he blinked his eyes open to behold the sight before him. An enormous stone lodged precariously against the conical front of the 100-ton truck. The first stone had come to rest upon the ground, its lower half wedged against the truck, while the second stone loomed above, resembling a giant pressing down. The second stone, while slightly less damaged, was still missing a significant chunk, as if it had lost a leg. Conversely, the front of the 100-ton truck showed no signs of deformation whatsoever. It was astounding to consider that these two boulders weighed at least 500 tons combined and had descended from a height of over 100 meters, translating gravitational potential energy into an astonishing kinetic force. Yet, the front of the 100-ton truck remained intact. Ding, shock value. 6, ding, shock value. 5, ding, shock value. 6, ding. In that instant, everyone in the live broadcast and those present were left speechless, as if turned to stone, their voices lost in astonishment. Ahem. At this moment, Yi Bai cleared his throat and softly remarked, Master Sun, tell me, how formidable is this conical front of the truck that I modified for you? Can it rival the Crane King? Sun Jishui, still in shock, stared at Yi Bai for a long moment before suddenly slapping his thigh, his face flushed with excitement, exclaiming, It's incredibly powerful. Not only can it rival the Crane King, but I feel that even a tank would kneel before the 100-ton truck. Good gracious. Yi Bai exclaimed in admiration. Master Sun, your imagination is truly boundless. The live audience responded with enthusiasm. 666. Facing two colossal stones head-on. Who would dare say the 100-ton truck's front isn't tough enough? The amphibious assault vehicle was crushed into a pancake, yet the 100-ton truck emerged unscathed. Truly invincible. The king of car modifications in the two Guangs. Nothing but hard work and genuine toughness. Humorous GIF. Live audience popularity. 111, 111. At that moment, Long Hans Han, nursing the dull ache in his head, crawled up from inside the vehicle. The dim interior jolted him awake as he looked at Yi Bai curiously, asking, How long was I out? Yi Bai frowned slightly, replying, Just a moment, I suppose. Impossible. It's already dark. Long Hans Han exclaimed in excitement. Yi Bai gestured towards the window. General Long, perhaps you should take a look outside? Outside. Long Hans Han turned to look. Outside lay the remnants of two colossal shattered stones. Clearly, they had collided with the truck's front, yet had not crushed its occupants into a bloody mess. Instead, they had shattered. How incredibly resilient the 100-ton truck must be. Chapter 49. The Crane King flees in fear? Mocked in video? No wonder it was dark. The two massive stones had blocked out the light. Long Hans Han marveled before exclaiming in astonishment, But, a 100-ton truck can break two giant stones? Yi Bai chuckled. Is that unreasonable? Shouldn't it be? Long Hans Han questioned, his expression filled with confusion. If he had not witnessed it himself, he would have thought it was pure fantasy. At that moment, Sun Jishui, still in the driver's seat, interjected, General Long, I specifically sought out Boss Yi to modify this vehicle. While I can't disclose the details, I can assure you of his exceptional craftsmanship. If you ever need modifications for military vehicles, you can also consult him. Yi Bai's eyes sparkled with insight. Military vehicles are still vehicles. In this wasteland of mud and debris, there were still police motorcycles around. Perhaps he could complete his system upgrade mission in one fell swoop. I would like to, but I lack the authority. I can only apply. Long Hantan fixed his gaze on Yi Bai intently. Then we shall discuss it later, Yi Bai responded casually. However, considering the remarkable contribution you made today to the disaster relief efforts, I believe you will undoubtedly receive a first-class merit award. Long Hantan cast a grateful glance in his direction. Another first-class merit? Xiao Yunshan, standing nearby, was wide-eyed and shaking his head in disbelief. The smile on Long Hanshan's face faltered as he stared at Xiao Yunshan in astonishment. Another first-class merit? Did Yi Bai earn one before this? Xiao Yunshan explained. Not long ago, he modified a police motorcycle for the Huadu Traffic Bureau. While on the highway, he encountered a drug dealer's vehicle. The dealer had exceptional driving skills and managed to evade the plainclothes officers. If it weren't for the police motorcycle, we might not have apprehended him. Really? Long Hanshan's jaw nearly dropped in disbelief as he stared at Yi Bai. Yi Bai cleared his throat, slightly embarrassed, and waved his hand dismissively. It was just a small effort, nothing to mention. Moreover, the upgraded police motorcycle could withstand bullets and even produce a type of projectile that could separate from the body instantaneously, Xiao Yunshan added, with a sense of disbelief. Long Hantian touched his scalp, which had gone numb. Could it truly be that a mere 18-year-old youth could achieve such technological prowess? Many scientific researchers, even esteemed academicians, might not reach such heights. He respectfully inquired, "Pray tell, who exactly is Comrade Yi Bai?" After a moment's contemplation, Yi Bai furrowed his brow and replied, "I suppose I am just an unremarkable freshman who has gained admission to Tsinghua and Peking University." "What? You've been accepted to Tsinghua and Peking University?" Long Hantian gasped in astonishment, his nostrils flaring in disbelief. How could one individual be so extraordinarily perfect, exhibiting such audacity? By the way, is there anything you cannot accomplish? Long Hantian squinted at Yi Bai, his gaze piercing. Yi Bai, resting his chin on his hand, pondered for a moment before sighing. The burdens of genius are beyond your comprehension. Ah, the burdens of genius that Long Hantian cannot fathom. How utterly delightful. Long Hantian felt as if he might weep. In comparison, he, a 35-year-old military general, seemed utterly mundane. Just then, an alarming alert blared from the cockpit of the 100-ton vehicle. Everyone turned in unison. Sun Jishui, glancing anxiously at the dashboard, exclaimed, "It seems we are out of fuel. We must refuel, or we shall not be able to move." No sooner had he spoken than the alert ceased, and the fuel gauge icon diminished, replaced by a battery icon, signaling that the 100-ton vehicle had regained functionality. Is it truly a hybrid of fuel and electricity? Long Hantian asked, astonished. Yi Bai sighed. I initially thought this feature was superfluous, but it does prove useful in critical moments. Long Hantian reclined for a long moment before solemnly addressing Yi Bai. Comrade Yi Bai, I have a premonition that one day, you and I shall stand side by side as comrades in arms. Yi Bai was taken aback. Surely, he wasn't contemplating recruiting him, was he? No, not now. Clearing his throat, Yi Bai retorted, aren't we already? Long Hantian chuckled, unable to contain his amusement. Indeed, you have my friendship. Long Hantian accepts you. How fortunate. Yi Bai responded with a smile. If they were friends, respect for each other's wishes would prevail, thus avoiding any forced recruitment. A near miss. He almost fell into the clutches of the state prematurely. As time passed, Yi Bai and Long Hantian enjoyed an engaging discourse, ranging from mutual commendation in business to perspectives on disaster relief in the ever-shifting international landscape. Many subjects were too sensitive to be discussed publicly, leading Yi Bai to turn off the live stream early. When the conversation shifted to military strategy, Yi Bai's professional and solid foundation left Long Hantian astounded. After all, Yi Bai's background was remarkably clean. He should hardly be familiar with military command unless he were indeed a genius, or a genius with a passion for the military. If possible, such a talent would be best suited for the Southern Military District. Before parting, Long Hantian gazed at the graceful Yi Bai with great anticipation. That night, in the outskirts of Gue City, at the construction site of the Lisher Tsiyuan project, workers gathered in small groups at food stalls outside, enjoying bowls of fried rice or egg fried rice for 10 yuan, or stir-fried dishes for 15, relishing their meals. Old Uncle Xiao Yinshan approached the 100-ton vehicle with takeout in hand, distributing meals. Here, 1 serving of tomato scrambled eggs, 1 serving of spicy stir-fried meat, and 1 serving of stir-fried pig liver. Everyone gets one, so eat up. Yi Bai casually grabbed a portion of stir-fried pig liver and promptly offered it to Sun Jishui. Master Sun, care for a bite? Sun Jishui did not reply. Instead, he was fervently typing messages, his expression growing increasingly grim. Yi Bai furrowed his brow. What's the matter? Has something gone awry? Surely, that Yu Huawang isn't too cowardly to show up? Not at all. Sun Jishui forced a smile. I know Yu Huawang well. He loves to be in the spotlight and would never miss this. Yi Bai remained silent, but his expression brightened. Just then, Sun Jishui's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and beamed, pointing it at Yi Bai. Look, he's video calling me. He should be arriving soon. Then answer it. Yi Bai said, intrigued. Sun Jishui connected the call, and with a booming voice, bellowed, Yu Huang, where are you? On the other end, Yu Huang, driving while smoking, replied nonchalantly, why the rush? Do you think I would run away? I am simply on my way to take care of business. Taking care of business? Until when? Didn't you say that whoever doesn't come is your grandson? Sun Jishui fumed. Yu Huang scratched his arm and smirked. Didn't I say? I'm busy. I'll come after I finish. Yu Huang, are you mocking me? Sun Jishui shouted. Who is mocking you? Where do you see me mocking you? Yu Huang retorted. Don't you? Sun Jishui hesitated. Suddenly, laughter erupted from the video call. Ha ha. Fool. You're a fool. I'm absolutely mocking you. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Hearing this, Yi Bai could hardly contain his amusement at the audacity of Yu Huang. Sun Jishui, incensed, began pounding the steering wheel, causing the 100-ton vehicle to swerve dangerously. Whoa. If Yi Bai hadn't quickly steadied the wheel, they might have overturned. Viewers watching the live stream saw Sun Jishui's fury. Nonetheless, they were reminded not to emulate his reckless behavior. Yi Bai smiled at the camera, cautioning, please do not engage in such dangerous antics. It could lead to serious consequences. Come on, do you think I'm afraid of you? If you can find me, I'll let you have your way. Yu Huang taunted, his antics escalating with reckless abandon. Sun Jishui stood up, trembling with rage, finally unleashing a furious roar. Ah, I will kill you. Yi Bai clarified for the audience, not in the way you might think. It's a figure of speech. But do not provoke the honest folk. It can lead to genuine trouble. I will find you today, Sun Jishui declared vehemently. In the next moment, the video call abruptly ended. Sun Jishui frantically tapped the screen to reconnect, but Yu Huang did not answer. Oh, an exasperated Sun Jishui slumped back in his seat, weeping inconsolably as tears streamed down his face. Yi Bai contemplated offering a comforting pat on Sun Jishui's shoulder, but, seeing his distraught state, hesitated and instead cast a somber gaze toward Xiao Yinshan. Xiao Yinshan was the first to speak, saying, if you want to do it, then do it. I support you. My dear nephew. All right. Yi Bai took a deep breath, turned around, and grasped Sun Jishui's shoulders, shouting, stop crying. I told you to stop crying. Sun Jishui whimpered. His face contorted in anguish as he stared angrily at Yi Bai, his eyes nearly ablaze with fury. Crying won't solve anything. If we can't find Yu Huang, are we just going to let him continue to act so arrogantly? Yi Bai exclaimed. The flames of anger in Sun Jishui's eyes surged, but then abruptly subsided, and he let out a self-deprecating snort, lamenting, but he is not coming to Gue capital, and we have no idea where he is. Will not crying solve the problem? Yi Bai fell silent. At that moment, he wished he had launched several satellites already, so he could search for enemies in the void. What to do? As he pondered, his gaze fell upon the barrage of comments on the screen. To his surprise, someone had indeed provided a brilliant idea. Main host. Why not try contacting that geography expert who can identify locations from pictures? Right? There are specialized streamers who can perform photo analysis to track down locations. Yi Bai's spirits lifted. Indeed, the wisdom of the masses is boundless. Without delay, he pulled out his personal phone, ready to contact the expert streamer. Just then, a golden rocket launch effect appeared in the live stream, signaling that the super administrator, One Peach, had logged on. She posted on the public screen, main host. Check your private messages. I've sent you the location analysis video. Upon seeing this comment, Yi Bai was overjoyed. He had never anticipated that the live stream would prove so useful at a critical moment. He quickly opened the private message to find a video from One Peach. In the video, One Peach used screenshots from the live stream to send to an expert streamer named Night Point. And she had even sent a rocket emoji requesting help to find the location. The Night Point streamer was indeed resourceful. From the blurry photo, he discerned that it was raining outside and, based on the weather forecast, deduced that the approximate location was in South China. Then, by examining the reflective surfaces in the livestream video, he noted the presence of green safety barriers, withered tree roots, and a blue building, elements that were difficult to identify with the naked eye. Consequently, this expert used an image recognition tool and found similar images. Clicking through to a web page titled Ling City Traffic Management Reform Action, it turned out to be in Ling City. Then, he opened a real-time map for comparison, and everything matched up. This Yu Huang was located in Ling City, north of Gue capital. Bam! Yi Bai slapped Xiao Yinshan's thigh, shouting, Master Sun. Now, immediately, let us head to Ling City, capture Yu Huang, and let him know why the flowers are so red. Sun Jishui's eyes were almost spitting fire, and he quickly wiped away his tears, red-eyed, and slammed on the brakes, charging forward in the heavy-duty truck towards Ling City. Meanwhile, Xiao Yinshan, who had been startled by the thigh slap, was bewildered and in pain, exclaiming, "Yi Bai, why did you smack my thigh?" Yi Bai blinked, his face slightly flushed, and said, Uncle, is your leg numb?" Xiao Yinshan was taken aback. "What? Numb?" "Yes," Yi Bai nodded. Xiao Yinshan retorted, "I'm your uncle. I asked if your leg is numb, and you say you're my uncle?" Yi Bai was momentarily stunned. Was his uncle's head spinning? "I am your uncle. How could I call you Mom?" Xiao Yinshan was speechless. Yi Bai blinked again and suddenly suggested, "Uncle, how about I tutor my cousin? As a prospective student from Qingbei University, I can guarantee she'll get in." "Forget it. You can't touch my daughter. No negotiation," Xiao Yinshan said angrily. "Oh, my poor cousin. How did she end up with such a foolish father?" Yi Bai muttered, then continued to check his private messages, noticing that the super admin, One Peach, seemed to be upset. "One Peach, main host, this might be the last time I help you." Pouting, Tu Guangcar King, "Why? What's wrong? Is there no love between us anymore?" "One Peach, it's because as your super admin, you didn't even notify me when you started your stream. I saw it on my homepage and watched for a long time without you mentioning me. Since I'm not important to you, I might as well leave." Yi Bai was both amused and exasperated. It turned out he had neglected this loyal supporter. Chapter 51, Capturing Yu Huawang. Yi Bai skillfully employs psychological tactics. Yi Bai quickly typed a reply on his phone screen. "Tu Guangcar King, I didn't mean to ignore you. We haven't added each other on WeChat or QQ, so I couldn't inform you. Plus, I've been quite busy with the vehicle and disaster relief. It wasn't intentional." "One Peach, well, it seems I misjudged you. How about this? You send me your WeChat ID, and I'll add you." Tu Guangcar King, "Oh, my WeChat ID is XXXX. One Peach, added." Soon, a notification popped up. User One Peach has sent a verification message. Yi Bai accepted it, then refreshed One Peach's moments, and nearly had a nosebleed. One Peach was actually a yoga practitioner, and indeed, she was a peach in every sense. If Sun Jishui's daughter, Sun Ling, was the milk tea sister, and Su Ning was an elegant lady with striking features, then this One Peach was undoubtedly a captivating enchantress. Her figure was simply stunning. However, her face was not visible. The background was from her villa, and her captions expressed a lazy reluctance to go out, filled with gaming anecdotes. She was clearly a homebody. What a pity. Throughout the journey, Yi Bai chatted with One Peach, discovering she was a hilarious person, sharing some rather outrageous memes that were not suitable for public viewing. He kept them to himself, while some private messages and photos were simply not fit for outsiders. At that moment, Xiao Yinshan, who had been watching the vehicles on the road, suddenly tapped Yi Bai's arm, urging, "Quickly, nephew, look. Could that crane be the one belonging to that scoundrel Yu Huawang? Oh, have we found him so quickly?" Yi Bai reluctantly tucked away his phone, glancing at the road signs, which prominently displayed the name Ling City. Meanwhile, a yellow crane on the move had a license plate that clearly began with a U character. Yi Bai hurriedly asked, "Master Sun, do you remember Yu Huawang's license plate number?" I don't remember." Sun Jishui gritted his teeth, feeling powerless, and in a fit of frustration, declared, "I'll just drive right next to that crane. If it's that Yu Huawang, I'll confront him directly." No. Yi Bai quickly intervened. "You can't do that. What about your daughter? What about your wife? Trust me, I have my own methods to deal with him." Sun Jishui glared fiercely at the speeding crane, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that they trembled. Inside the crane, Yu Huawang was scrolling through short videos, watching female streamers dance while also video chatting with his buddies, chuckling. "Let me tell you, I was smart to run fast tonight. I thought Sun Jishui was a fool who would come to get beaten up after fixing his truck. But who would have thought he actually got someone to modify his vehicle? The front of his truck is cracked from 2 gigantic boulders, and here I am. The Crane King, how can I compete with him? Not only would I lose 300,000, but I'd also have to pay with my hands? Forget that." On the other end of the video, his buddy laughed. "So you're running away? Acting like a grandson?" No. Sun Jishui is just a fool. I was played, and now he must be furious, likely on the verge of a heart attack. If he dares to retaliate, I will ensure he loses everything and spends his days behind bars." Humph. Yu Huawang, with a smoldering cigarette and beetle nut in his mouth, tossed his tousled hair. His close friend sighed, "But he's an honest man. Be cautious. There's no need for a deadly rivalry since we all come from the same village. What do you understand? This is a battle of fortunes, and it has always been thus. If Sun Jishui hadn't found a good grave for his father with his lineage, could his daughter possibly have been admitted to Tsinghua or Peking University while my son is left to roast sweet potatoes? Yu Huang's eyes darkened as he spoke angrily. I don't know how to respond. Life is unpredictable, and you should take care. I need to pick up my child from kindergarten. So I'll hang up now. His friend ended the call. Is that it? Damn. Yu Huang glared at the disconnected screen and promptly called a few other friends. But none answered. He contemplated calling his wife, but hesitated for a long moment and ultimately decided against it. With a heavy sigh, he opened the live stream of the King of Car Modifications in Guangdong. Not watching was one thing, but once he did, his heart nearly leapt from his throat. The crane truck in the live stream bore an identical license plate to the one he was currently driving. This meant Sun Jishui had found him, so close at hand. At that moment, in the live stream, Yi Bai suddenly remarked, "Hey, Master Sun, do you think that crane truck ahead belongs to Yu Huang?" Sun Jishui pondered for a moment before responding. That bastard usually drives with the window open, and there are always ashes floating out. He tosses cigarette butts, beetle nut remnants, and spit out the window. If we see such behavior, I believe it's him. Then, I'll take him down. What? Sun Jishui hurriedly looked at the cigarette in his hand, which was being blown about by the howling wind, and the discarded beetle nut wrapper was at risk of being whisked away. He quickly rolled up the window. His heart raced wildly. Then, a voice broke through the live stream again. Yi Bai said, "I checked, and it seems the crane truck driver has closed the window, making it hard to confirm. How about we go ask him? Perhaps someone in his circle recognizes Yu Huang's vehicle or license plate. Besides, look, this crane truck's plate is also from Guangdong." Sun Jishui replied, "That makes sense. Let us drive up and ask. If it is him, I'll ram him. You get out when we stop. I want to settle this once and for all. That bastard." Yu Huang's eyes widened in terror, nearly paralyzed with fear. He had just provoked and mocked Sun Jishui. And with that honest man's stubbornness, he would undoubtedly retaliate with full force. This was a disaster. Cold sweat drenched Yu Huang's face, neck, palms, and back. Accelerating, turning, or even remaining passive would all lead to a dead end. At that moment, Sun Jishui suddenly said, "Do you think that vehicle ahead might suddenly crash? If we honk, wouldn't we be held entirely responsible?" "What? We can't do that. Don't honk. If he goes berserk and crashes, we'd be liable too." Yi Bai exclaimed in astonishment. "Let us give it a try," Sun Jishui said as he pressed the horn button. Beep beep beep. Yu Huang, aware that the horn would sound, was still startled. However, he soon realized that Sun Jishui hadn't actually honked. His subconscious merely interpreted the gesture as a honk, conjuring the sound in his mind. Nonetheless, the crucial point was that he was still frightened. The result of that fright was beep beep, bang. Chapter 52. Catapulted by a ton truck and a kindergarten school bus simultaneously? In that moment, Yu Huang's left hand jerked the steering wheel to the left, causing the crane to veer without signaling or checking for oncoming traffic. For several seconds, his left hand remained stiff, his brain signaling a retreat. But his hand continued to turn the wheel. He was about to collide with a speeding van, his heart racing wildly. That was a van. A light troop transport vehicle from Guangdong. A collision with that would mean huge compensation. Fortunately, he reacted in time and sharply turned the wheel to the right. The crane truck swiftly changed direction. Not only did he regain control, but he also veered into the slower lane. But just then, a ton truck came barreling from behind. The tapered front matched perfectly with what he had seen in the live stream. Sun Jishui was on the attack. This was it. Yu Huang felt a shiver run down his spine rigid as he swerved left again into the fast lane, only to be struck with a resounding bang by the van. He was the king of cranes, being rammed by a van. After being knocked aside, he collided head-on with a heavy-duty truck, and it was a devastating blow. This was a high-speed ton truck, modified and upgraded by the car modification king of Guangdong. There was no resistance. Yu Huang felt as though his crane truck was sliced apart like tofu upon impact. The crane's arm was cleaved by the ton truck's pointed front. In an instant, it deformed. In 2 seconds, it split apart. In 3 seconds, it detached from the chassis, gliding along the road, becoming debris on the roadside. Damn! Boom! Crash! With a startled cry, Yu Huang was ejected from the front of the truck, propelled by the combined forces of inertia and thrust, tumbling across the road for several rolls before crashing into the guardrail, finally coming to a staggering stop. Simultaneously, the van and the ton truck came to a halt. Inside were Xiao Yunshan, Yi Bai, and Sun Jishui. My goodness, I racked my brain just to scare Yu Huang into crashing into a school bus. But your sudden honk completely threw him into chaos. Not only did he crash into the school bus, but he was also sent flying by the ton truck. Master Sun, what were you thinking? Yi Bai exclaimed, astonished at the sight of the wrecked crane truck. Sun Jishui scratched his head, feeling bashful as he replied. Is it possible that I just softened my heart and didn't honk? Is that so? Yi Bai looked at Sun Jishui in disbelief. Sun Jishui furrowed his brow. Perhaps it was a moment of inspiration. Viewers in the live stream commented, well, the villain's meticulous plot is outsmarted by the fool's moment of brilliance. Exactly. After provoking Master Sun, look at the state of his truck now. Serves him right. Inside the truck's cabin, the white airbag filled the cramped space. Yu Huang struggled out from the wreckage, returning to the road, collapsing onto the ground, panting heavily, drenched in cold sweat. Though the crash hadn't killed him, it left him utterly exhausted. Initially believing he had narrowly escaped death, he looked up to find 3 individuals standing before him. One, with a balding head and a corpulent physique, exuded an air of affluence. Another, holding a phone, appeared as if carved from jade, while the third, though somewhat coarse, instilled the deepest dread within him. Yu Huang clenched his fists, the name of his nemesis, Sun Jishui, escaping his lips through gritted teeth. Startled by Sun Jishui's fury, Yu Huang stumbled back until his head collided with the door of a crane, sending a jolt through his body, compelling him to flee. However, he found himself cornered, with Xiao Yinshan to his left and Yi Bai to his right, leaving him with no escape route. With a thud, Yu Huang knelt before them, hands clasped in a plea for mercy. I did not mean to provoke you. I deserve punishment. In desperation, he began to slap his own face, the resounding slaps echoing in the air, turning his previously ashen visage a deep crimson, even bruising it. As he prepared to continue his self-flagellation, Yi Bai seized his wrist, exclaiming, "That's enough." Yu Huang looked up at Yi Bai with hope. Yi Bai regarded him coldly, stating, "You damaged my uncle's vehicle and also caused harm to my customer's car. Now, tell me, do you wish to settle this privately or publicly?" Yu Huang quickly forced a grin and asked, "What does a private settlement entail?" Yi Bai gestured towards Sun Jishui. "You previously wagered 300,000. We shall not resort to amputation, as that would be illegal and excessively cruel. Instead, you will compensate Master Sun 300,000 and publicly apologize before the entire village." Yu Huang's complexion became as sallow as liver, feeling as though he had consumed something foul. Tears welled in his eyes, but Yi Bai, Sun Jishui, and Xiao Yinshan remained unyielding, their expressions resolute. After a prolonged silence, Yu Huang finally stammered, "Could I not just pay the money without the apology?" Yi Bai was rendered speechless by his audacity. Sun Jishui glared fiercely at Yu Huang. "Yu Huang, after all you've done to me, how can you not even offer an apology? Do you believe yourself superior to me, Sun Jishui? Today, you shall either bow your proud head, or I will force you to do so." Yu Huang, desperately suppressing the rising tumult within him, felt the bruises on his body begin to bleed. Seeing that Yu Huang remained silent, Yi Bai spoke coldly, "If you do not apologize, I will have no choice but to report you to the authorities." Xiao Yinshan stepped forward, gesturing towards his vehicle. "You should have seen my nephew's live stream. I do not drive an ordinary van or a mobile office, but a specialized kindergarten bus. Perhaps you are unaware of the ramifications of colliding with a school bus. But let me enlighten you. School buses are classified as special vehicles. The traffic police will act swiftly, the courts will pursue public prosecution, and the judge will impose severe penalties. Your intentional collision with my modified school bus could have resulted in disaster. You are quite bold, Yu Huang, seeking revenge on society. Are we? Wishing to harm me? Too bad, for I can sue you into bankruptcy. Consult the law. Provoking trouble can lead to a prison sentence of up to 5 years. Moreover, colliding with a school bus warrants the maximum penalty." Upon hearing this, Yu Huang's pupils constricted. His mouth agape, truly frightened. I am sorry. I was wrong." He knelt, filled with regret. "Why did I provoke Yi Bai, or rather, Sun Jishui?" "You must convey this back to the village," Yi Bai declared. Yu Huang repeatedly bowed his head, pained. "I will return to the village and will not be imprisoned." "Transfer the funds," Yi Bai instructed, producing a QR code. Yu Huang's tears flowed more fiercely. 300,000 was a sum he could not amass for years. It was meant as a dowry for his daughter and for his future sustenance. "Could you perhaps lower the amount?" he pleaded. "Why could you not have restrained yourself at that moment?" Yi Bai countered. Overcome with emotion, Yu Huang broke down in tears, his cries piercing the air, a lament akin to a cuckoo's call. Yet, all of this was the consequence of his own actions. Ding! A notification chimed. 300,000 had been transferred. Sun Jishui, in disbelief, did not hesitate to pass the funds to Yi Bai. "Boss Yi, here is the remaining balance, along with the 100,000 I promised you. I am thoroughly satisfied with this outcome." He grasped Yi Bai's hands, expressing profound gratitude. Had it not been for Yi Bai's intervention, he not only would have lost the money, but would have faced Yu Huang's humiliation and likely imprisonment. Yi Bai smiled. Master Sun, you must learn to exercise restraint and refrain from resolving matters through impulse. Absolutely. Sun Jishui beamed, his face radiant, as if the shadows of the past had dissipated. Xiao Yinshan could not help but reminisce. Indeed, he is my nephew. I recall when your father, at your age, was eager to borrow 200 yuan from me to pay salaries. Did he not claim to be a millionaire at 18? Yi Bai exclaimed in astonishment. Xiao Yinshan paused, quickly correcting himself. Was it? I must have misremembered. Yes, that must be it. Goodness, Yi Bai exclaimed, pondering just how many tales his father had spun. Upon their return from vacation in the Maldives, he would demand answers. At that moment, a police motorcycle approached. The officers, seeing the debris scattered about, promptly halted, retrieving their notebooks and pens to inquire about the accident that had caused such destruction to public property and vehicles. Xiao Yinshan replied with a smile, the driver rear-ended us, impacting the truck in the slow lane. We chose to settle privately. The officers, observing the trio, intended to leave when they noticed the van behind Xiao Yinshan. Its license plate a striking yellow with black lettering, marked with a U. They immediately questioned, what is the meaning of this license plate? This is a color designated for large freight vehicles, construction machinery, and school buses. According to Article 45 of the School Bus Safety Management Regulations, illegally impersonating a school bus could result in a fine of 120,000 and vehicle confiscation. Ah, this is indeed a school bus. Xiao Yinshan waved his hand dismissively. My nephew and I are merely visiting Lingqing in Guangxi. We are both from Huadu. If you have doubts, my driver's license can confirm it. After verifying his license, the officers seemed satisfied. However, just as they prepared to leave, one of the officers called out, wait. Xiao Yinshan was taken aback, smiling nervously. Is there anything else, officer? The officer pointed at Xiao Yinshan, Sun Jishui, and Yu Huang, declaring, you three need to stay. Why? Yi Bai inquired, puzzled as to why he was not being detained. I have confirmed that the driver, Xiao Yinshan, was operating a school bus, while the crane driver, Yu Huang, is suspected of intentionally colliding with the school bus, leading to a serious traffic incident. You will all accompany me for further questioning. Additionally, Sun Jishui and Xiao Yinshan, I require your statements as well. Yu Huang was stunned. Yi Bai, too, was incredulous. They had not anticipated the police would arrive unbidden, sealing Yu Huang's fate. This is quite the coincidence, don't you think? Yi Bai blinked in disbelief. Yu Huang slowly rose, stunned for several seconds before erupting into furious curses. Yi Bai, you are inhuman. Yi Bai's expression darkened as he gestured to the officers. Take him away. Yu Huang continued his tirade. In the next moment, everything changed. With a swift motion, Sun Jishui retaliated with a hefty slap. How dare you insult my benefactor? He exclaimed, unleashing another powerful strike. Yu Huang attempted to continue his tirade, but was abruptly halted by a nauseating stench that overwhelmed him, causing him to retch. Soon after, the traffic police intervened, separating the two men and taking them into custody. Although Yu Huang wished to press charges against Sun Jishui for assault, the newly enacted legal provisions deemed both parties guilty of mutual combat, leading to a stalemate. However, it was Yu Huang who bore the brunt of the consequences, facing potential criminal charges. Leaf Bai remarked that it was indeed his just desserts. Before departing, Sun Jishui grasped Leaf Bai's hand, tears welling in his eyes. Bossy, I know I have my faults, but the wisest decision I have ever made was seeking your assistance with my vehicle. I must serve a brief detention now, but I promise to reform. I worry for my daughter, Sun Ling. Her mother passed away early, and she is alone at home. If you would be so kind, perhaps you could take her on as an apprentice? She could assist you during the winter and summer breaks, and I wouldn't even require a salary for her. Leaf Bai was taken aback and hurriedly declined. Master Sun, I appreciate your desire to repay kindness, but your daughter is not an object to be given away as an apprentice. Sun Jishui remained silent, tears streaming down his face. With a sigh, Leaf Bai softened. Sun Ling is indeed a pitiable girl. Very well, I shall pay her a salary. I could use an assistant for my live streams. I can't always rely on my uncle, who has his own passions. After recording statements late into the night, only Xiao Yinshan and Leaf Bai were left to depart. Xiao Yinshan drove while Leaf Bai dozed in the passenger seat, contemplating staying the night, but knowing his uncle's disapproval would be unyielding. Instead, they opted for an all-night drive home via video call. Leaf Bai pondered the merits of a marriage under such scrutiny. As they passed through Guidu, an unexpected event unfolded. The traffic police's motorcycle unit had been tailing them for 1 or 2 hours. If they were merely escorting, they would have turned back upon exiting the province. Yet, They continued to follow even to the border of Yu province, which suggested something more was afoot. Chapter 54. The fire department from Guadu chases after Huadu. Secretary Dekong was alarmed. On the school bus, Leaf Bai noticed a gas station ahead and said, "Uncle, let us stop the car." Xiao Yunshan checked the fuel gauge, which still showed 52, and curiously asked, "Do you need to use the restroom or buy some water?" "I need to speak with the traffic police about something," Leaf Bai replied. Although Xiao Yunshan was puzzled, he complied and pulled over. The following traffic police also came to a halt for a break, reinforcing Leaf Bai's suspicions. Leaf Bai approached one of the officers and inquired, "Officer, your jurisdiction is in Guadu. Why have you followed us all the way to Yu province?" The officer's gaze flickered as he frowned. "Our vehicles are somewhat malfunctioning, and we need your assistance." Leaf Bai chuckled. "So your director sent you?" The officer nodded. "Indeed. It's not just our traffic department. Our fire department wishes to procure your services as well. You made significant contributions during the recent flood disaster, and our escort is also a token of our gratitude. If you are amenable, perhaps you could speak with our director?" "Of course. However, it's quite late today. You are guests in Huadu, and as the host, I shall arrange for your hospitality," Leaf Bai replied with a smile. An opportunity for business had presented itself, and he was eager to seize it. And wasn't he Secretary Dekong quite the figure? Everyone else was too intimidated to approach for vehicle modifications. But not me. No business in Huadu. No matter. I'll thrive in Guadu. The following morning in Huadu, within the office of Secretary Dekong. After reviewing documents, Secretary Dekong instructed his secretary, Jin Yang. The directives have arrived. The primary task for all departments in the coming days is to assist with the flood disaster response in Guadu. The recent 100-ton truck accident has raised public skepticism regarding our governance. We must utilize this opportunity to showcase the orderliness of Huadu's transportation. The reputation of the region reflects upon Jinghai. We must excel. Jin Yang nodded solemnly. "Rest assured, Secretary. I have ensured notifications and checks are in place. The supply vehicles left last night, and the emergency channels for disaster relief materials have been arranged. While it may affect local traffic, it remains manageable." "But what is it?" Secretary Dekong inquired. "It's regarding Secretary Zhang. This morning they pressed for updates. They are eager to meet with Leaf Bai, and it seems this is a strong request from Academician Yang of Longkou Institute," Jin Yang cautiously revealed. Secretary Dekong's expression darkened as he rapidly flipped through documents. Throwing them onto the table with displeasure, "What news do we have from Leaf Bai? Is he still unwilling to collaborate with us?" Jin Yang shook his head helplessly. "I have been unable to reach him these past few days. Truth be told, Secretary, your initial rejection was justified. After all, 300,000 per vehicle is exorbitant. We ought to allocate funds towards public welfare, education, and the economy. However, the situation has changed. You have an incredible opportunity to foster development not just for Huadu, but for the entire Longhua traffic management system. Sacrifices are necessary for the greater good." Secretary Dekong removed his glasses, his breath ragged and disordered, ultimately resigning to say, "Even if Leaf Bai were to face bankruptcy, he has his father to support him. But if my personal grievances were to jeopardize Longhua as a whole, I would deserve the harshest of fates." He looked up at Jin Yang. "Has Leaf Bai returned?" "He has," Jin Yang confirmed. Secretary Dekong exhaled in relief and stood to leave. "Secretary Jin, prepare the vehicle." Well," Jin Yang quickly interjected, swallowing hard. "Leaf Bai has returned, but it seems he brought along personnel from the Guadu traffic and fire departments." "What did you say?" Secretary Dekong exclaimed, astonished. "How did they find Leaf Bai? Has he been in Guadu these past few days?" "I'm not certain, but it's not out of the realm of possibility." Jin Yang hesitated. The two exchanged glances, and Secretary Dekong urged, "What are we waiting for? Hurry. If we delay, we may lose any chance of reconciliation." "Yes, understood." Jin Yang promptly dashed toward the garage. Inside Yinshao Auto Repair Shop, Leaf Bai, having earned 300,000 overnight, reviewed his finances and found himself with a mere 300,000 remaining. All prior funds had been spent on materials and equipment. As a student of Qingbei University, he had failed to account for this properly. The excitement had clouded his judgment. While the strategy of sustaining oneself through battle could yield a fine balance, he was fundamentally a farmer at heart. And farmers must cultivate and store grains. Money and value were his sustenance. The repair shop was his field, and the modified vehicles were his crops. Furthermore, the net profit of 300,000 would be split with his father, and taxes owed to the state would further diminish his earnings. He would be lucky to retain 270,000, likely falling short of even 250,000. How much tax must he pay? Leaf Bai contemplated this and began searching online. Just then, A series of knocks echoed from the shop door. Ding dong, ding dong. Then a familiar voice called out, "Hello, is this Boss Yi? We are from the Guangdong Fire and Traffic Departments. We had an appointment with you last night. Is it convenient to discuss?" Leaf Bai, staring at the portly middle-aged man before him, felt a sense of déjà vu. Haven't we met somewhere before? The man chuckled. I'm the one who raised my voice yesterday, demanding the release of the People's Ark. Oh. Yi Bai suddenly recalled that it was the other party's call that made him experience the sensation of being a national guest. May I ask your esteemed surname? Yi Bai inquired with a raised eyebrow and a smile. The man, patting his chest, replied earnestly, I am Zheng Cheng, the director of the fire department of Guay City. Since I must coordinate with the director of the Transportation Bureau, I am solely responsible for the procurement of both departments this time. Mr. Yi, shall we step inside to discuss further? Come, come. As esteemed guests travel from afar, it is only right to offer them a warm welcome, Yi Bai gestured, ushering them into the auto repair shop. Upon entering, Zheng Cheng and his companions expected the shabby exterior of the Yunshao auto repair shop to conceal a lavish interior, only to find it was indeed consistent in its modesty. Ah, my humble establishment has caused you to chuckle, Yi Bai said shyly, personally serving tea to them. Not at all. Every great endeavor begins from humble beginnings. Remember, our party also started with a modest boat for its first discussions and faced pursuit from the principal's agents. Zheng Cheng replied with a beaming smile. Yi Bai raised a cup of lukewarm water, pretending it was scalding, and remarked, Director Zheng, your eloquence is commendable. However, let me clarify that although my shop is small, my fees are anything but cheap. Oh, what do you mean by that? Zheng Cheng inquired, lifting his plastic cup, his cheeks flushing. Yet, seeing Yi Bai sip leisurely, he could not afford to lose his composure. It's simply a matter of high costs, 300,000 per vehicle for the police motorcycles. If we are discussing heavy-duty trucks, the price rises to 600,000. Yi Bai declared with a hearty laugh. What? 600,000 per vehicle? This is outrageous. Zheng Cheng exclaimed, taken aback. If you find this price unacceptable, you might consider different vehicles instead, Yi Bai suggested. Though he was eager to complete the system upgrade task, while also making a profit. Well, Zheng Cheng hesitated, his eyes darting. No change. We want the heavy-duty trucks and police motorcycles. However, our budget is limited. Would you allow me to make a quick call to arrange for additional funds? Of course. Go ahead, Yi Bai encouraged. Zheng Cheng shot Yi Bai a glance before swiftly stepping outside to make a call. A few minutes later, he returned with a bright smile. Mr. Yi, our leadership has agreed to the price of 600,000 for the upgraded heavy-duty trucks and police motorcycles. Marvelous. Yi Bai exclaimed. What about the order quantity? Well, Zheng Cheng paused thoughtfully. We need 5 police motorcycles and 3 heavy-duty trucks, totaling around 3 million. But I am unsure when you can complete the modifications. 3 million? Real money. Yi Bai's excitement soared. When the modifications are completed is my concern. Whether the final payment can be made will depend on you, Director Zheng. Zheng Cheng blinked, then grinned. We have an advance of 800,000. Shall I transfer it to you now? Yi Bai promptly pulled out his phone and opened the payment code. The transaction was completed in an instant. Ding. 800,000 has been credited. With a balance of 1 million, Yi Bai's smile widened. From 0 to 1 million effortlessly. Moreover, if the costs are around 3 million, I stand to net 2 million. A lucrative deal indeed. Mr. Yi, when can we expect this order to be fulfilled? We must prepare for any potential emergencies, as the recent flood situation, though under control, remains unpredictable, Zheng Cheng continued. Yi Bai nodded. This order is vital for disaster relief, and I will ensure prompt delivery. After finalizing their collaboration, the two shook hands and exited the Yunshao auto repair shop. At that moment, the arrival of Secretary Dekong caught their attention, his expression shifting noticeably, akin to a hat turning slightly green. However, lacking any rightful claim. He could only suppress his discontent, which manifested in his pallor. Zheng Cheng's eyes lit up upon seeing him. Secretary Dekong, I did not expect to meet you here. I intended to visit you first, but our task was too urgent. My sincerest apologies. Secretary Dekong regarded Zheng Cheng with a frosty demeanor. Shouldn't you inform each other when staff members are visiting other work units? Or are you here under the auspices of the Discipline Inspection Commission or Inspection Team? My apologies. Secretary Dekong, how about this? I invite you to lunch today, or I can submit a letter of self-criticism. Would that be acceptable? Zheng Cheng suggested, looking anxious. Secretary Dekong replied coolly, if a self-criticism is to be made, it should be directed towards your Guay City Secretary. What meaning does your self-criticism hold for me? I am here to discuss cooperation with Mr. Yi. Cooperation? Zheng Qing's eyes brightened, and he chuckled. What a coincidence. We are also here to discuss cooperation with Mr. Yi. And we just signed a substantial order. Unable to contain himself, Yi Bai leaned in and whispered to Zheng Cheng. Is it possible that Secretary de Kong has been seeking my collaboration for days, and now you have overshadowed him? What? Zheng Cheng was taken aback. If that were the case, had he offended Secretary de Kong? Secretary de Kong smiled faintly at Yi Bai. Mr. Yi, did you not mention that we are in a queue? Why then did someone jump ahead? Yi Bai seized the opportunity. Secretary de Kong, do you not follow the news? Gui City is currently facing a flood disaster. My prioritizing them is due to the urgency of the situation. Impressive. Zheng Cheng silently praised Yi Bai, anticipating Secretary de Kang's reaction. However, the usually stoic Secretary de Kong simply smiled. Indeed, I almost forgot. I just dispatched a batch of supplies and rescue teams to Gui City. Mr. Yi, this order can be postponed. But Mr. Yi, no, Comrade Yi Bai. I am here to apologize for my earlier rashness. I should not have brought so many officials to your auto repair shop, disrupting your operations. Coming from a humble background, I am particularly sensitive to financial matters and the happiness of the common people. Thus, I have been obstructing your father's efforts to establish a flagship auto repair shop in Hua City, as such a shop demands high technical standards that the average citizen cannot benefit from. However, having seen the technology emerging from your repair shop today, I believe that establishing a flagship shop is indeed necessary. Comrade Yi Bai, I sincerely apologize and genuinely wish to cooperate with Yunshao Auto Repair Shop to serve the people of Hua City. As he spoke, Secretary de Kang's voice trembled with emotion. Perhaps as a secretary, he had his considerations and was indeed striving for the benefit of the people. Nevertheless, Yi Bai had no intention of letting him off easily. Moreover, why would his father establish a flagship shop in Hua City? This place was entirely unsuitable for such a venture. If anything, it should be in a major city like Magic City, Imperial Capital, or Sheep City, where flagship stores already existed. Yi Bai pondered for a moment and remarked, I did not refuse to collaborate with Secretary de Kong. Rather, the situation regarding the disaster is urgent. Once we have delivered to Guidu, it will be Huadu's turn. Comrade Yi Bai, I express my gratitude on behalf of the 6.8 million citizens of Huadu. Secretary de Kong bowed deeply. It is indeed a rare feat to elicit such a gesture of apology from a secretary. However, Yi Bai felt no particular sentiment about it. His actions were merely a response to Secretary de Kang's 2 previous refusals. A lesson for him to remember that having a position of power does not grant one the liberty to dismiss others casually. The ease of refusal brings with it a corresponding difficulty when one is in need. It was evident that Secretary de Kong was seeking his assistance, as he insisted on promoting the upgraded vehicles in Huadu, despite the fact that the police models, the Qiyan Longqi version and the Noah Arc version, would not significantly improve the daily lives of the populace. Yet, I am primarily curious as to why my father, Yi Nantian, is establishing a flagship automotive repair shop in Huadu, Yi Bai inquired. Chapter 56. Father Yi Nanshan's Strategy, Yi Bai's Ambitions. Secretary de Kong paused, then slowly articulated. Taking first-tier cities as an example, a high-end comprehensive automotive flagship store typically occupies a storefront of 300 to 800 square meters, with a monthly rent of 48 yuan per square meter per day. The cost of leasing the space alone starts at a minimum of 500,000 yuan annually, potentially rising to 3 million. Renovation costs range from 300,000 to 1 million. Equipment procurement from 800,000 to 2 million. Qualification processing 51,000. Labor costs 825,000. Utilities and consumables 130,000. Marketing and promotion 210,000. And inventory stocking 2 to 5 million. The total investment is approximately between 8 to 15 million, with no upper limit. Yet, your father intends to invest a staggering 30 million in this flagship store. 30 million. Yi Bai was taken aback. Throughout his childhood, his allowance had never exceeded 30,000 yuan. How could his father casually invest 30 million in a shop? Such a high investment would potentially yield returns in megacities like Shanghai or Shenzhen, but in Huadu, it seemed improbable. In my original estimation, with that amount of money, it would be wiser to invest in new energy vehicles, collaborating with other investors, which could create tens of thousands of jobs for Huadu. Secretary de Kong added. At that moment, Yi Bai felt a jolt of realization. He sensed that his father, Yi Nantian, was preparing a path for him, starting from the old and dilapidated Yunshao automotive repair factory, then transitioning to the flagship store, ultimately taking over the entire family business. Father, why must you decide everything without consulting me? I can create my own billion-dollar enterprise, even more formidable than your billion-dollar conglomerate. It shall be a trillion-dollar entity. Yi Bai's inner fire blazed fiercely, illuminating his eyes with a golden confidence and determination. Now, Secretary de Kong, let us speak plainly. Your considerable efforts must surely be for a purpose. Pray tell, what is it? Yi Bai said with a steady voice. In that moment, Secretary de Kong felt a flicker of confusion in his gaze, as if the youth before him had matured